Are there any Polar Express passengers in need of refreshment?
Santa Claus and ho ho ho.
Where's the Tylenol? Welcome to the party, pal.
You'll shoot your eye out, kid.
Son of a nutcracker!
Papa Shisho.
I'm the queen of the castle, and you're a dirty rascal.
No, I'm not.
Hello, everyone, and welcome to our first of two Christmas specials, Season's Greetings.
Happy
Today
holidays. Sorry.
Today will be... Oh, no, all good. We're excited. Today we're covering the Disney classic, as so many of you probably remember, a little movie called The Nutcracker and the Four Realms. And with me today, we have, as usual...
I'm a geeky writer, as always, bringing you happy holidays and a season's greetings. It is the most overrated time of the year, so I'm told.
And I'm Crimson Maroon, and I also exist during this time of year.
I'm a character called Sinister Boy, and yes, I do exist during Christmas.
And I'm Sprinks, and I celebrate Christmas on December 26th. So...
Is there actually a reason for that?
Oh, it just makes me happy. I like Christmas. I listen to Christmas music all year round.
Okay,
Love it.
That's fair.
Yes, he is a madman.
And because of such, from our Halloween specials, it seemed a little sacrilegious for me not to be hosting a Christmas episode. So even though I did host The Blair Witch, I am hosting a Christmas special this time. So, I have a couple of facts to start with. So, for this film, the release date in the US was November 2nd, 2018. It had a budget of anywhere between $120 to $133 million, and its box office revenue was $174 million. Its runtime listed as an hour and 40 minutes. I believe that is credits included. It is directed by, I feel like I'm going to butcher this name, so I apologize. Lassie Hallstrom and Joe Johnston. And a little added in because of my raven of Michael Giacchino, as you know, if you've listened to past episodes of ours, is the music composed in this movie is by James Newton Howard.
Who?
So not Michael Giacchino.
No, not Michael Giacchino.
But you did your Pretty Woman, The Fugitive, and Space Jam, so there you go. And The Dark Knight.
Yes. He did do The Dark Knight, Peter Jackson's King Kong, Hunger Games, Treasure Planet. He's got a couple movies under his belt.
And, Sixth Sense, nothing big. All
just
pretty
the small
small
stuff.
Yeah.
Bunch of
No, so he
movies.
definitely want to take on this movie.
Yeah.
So I got a couple fun facts. First one here is filming of this movie began in October 2016 and went through January 2017. In December of 2017, Joe Johnston directed a month of reshoots where Lassie Hallstrom agreed to give Johnston credit as a co-director.
All right. Fun.
The reshoots were written by Tom McCarthy, who went uncredited in the film.
Well, that's rude.
Poor Tom.
Yeah.
Well, I mean, you know what?
His name's not associated with this fabulous movie.
Yeah, you know what? Maybe that's for the best, honestly.
I also should have stated at the beginning of these facts are found on the internet, so take them with a grain of salt, whether they're 100% true or not.
I thought you knew these people personally.
Yeah,
I just
you were there.
Just record in case anything is not true or incorrect. So, next fact: the box office disappointment of this film lost Disney over $65 million.
Maybe
I'd love to see it.
Yeah. So you do.
And people believe, in the next fact, the film's release date of November 2nd, which is just 3 days after Halloween and roughly a month before Thanksgiving, is one of the main reasons why for the financial failure.
I don't think so.
Doubt that.
I don't think it would help. I don't think it would help that much.
Through 2018 and 2019, the film received 8 award nominations and 1 in the
What?
category of feature for the reframe stamp in 2019.
Did you have the 8 nominations or just that?
Not listed, unfortunately.
Let's see. Golden Trailer Award, HMMA Award, Annie Award, CTG Award, Golden Trailer Award, HPA Award, ALFS Award, Reframe Stamp, and Teen Choice Award.
Teen's Choice.
Yeah.
Did these people watch the same movie?
Choice Sci-Fi Fantasy Movie Actress Keira Knightley nominated.
I mean, to be fair, if anyone should get an award in this, it's probably her, because I couldn't tell it was her, and it's a very, very different role.
There you go.
Certainly.
Was that her or the makeup department?
That was her actress, not makeup.
Oh, you mean the CG department there, Crimson? Is what you mean. Not.
I don't.
Yeah, when she's in fairy form. Yikes. Getting ahead of ourselves here.
No, all good. Next fact: Marie was the name of the heroine in E.T.A. Hoffman's original Nutcracker story, and she was renamed to Clara in Alexandre Dumas's adaptation, on which the ballet was based on. The film uses both names for the mother and daughter of the film.
All right.
And lastly, I wanted to end the fun facts with the funnest fact of all that I could find. Helen Mirren, who played Mother Ginger in the film, had to take whip cracking lessons to prepare for her role. This was to present the visual pun of a ginger snap.
I wrote that down.
That's good. Yeah.
Ginger Snap.
Awesome.
And those are the facts.
And those are the facts, Jax.
So I guess we go with our history of the Nutcracker in the Four Realms, which is probably not that expensive. So if you want to just touch on the Nutcracker a little, we'll start with Crimson here.
Oh boy, the Nutcracker in 4 Realms. I remember when the trailer came out. I thought it looked a little interesting. Obviously, I did not go to see it like most other people. This was my first time seeing it. We'll get an opinion from me in the next few hours regarding just the Nutcracker in general. I've seen the Barbie Nutcracker, and I don't think I've really seen anything else really that's coming to mind. So very minimal.
Mm-hmm.
I don't watch ballets or dances or anything. That's it.
All right, Sinister, if you go ahead and go next.
Yeah. Yeah, I saw like the trailer and probably like when I went to the theater I'd see like a poster of this movie, but I never went and saw it just because it didn't really seem all that interesting to me. I am slightly familiar with like the actual like story or the ballet that's based on, but probably not enough to. I wasn't really spoiled by anything before going into this movie, so I think it's different enough where you probably can't really it's night and day difference. So that's about all my familiarity with this.
And next on to Ryder.
Yes. I am familiar somewhat with the ballet. Because my mom's a huge ballet fan, and so is one of my best friends. So they drag me every now and again to watch ballets or experience ballet at some form or fashion. This is one ballet that I haven't seen, but I've definitely heard about a lot. I'm more familiar with the original fairy tale from my old mythology classes in college. For the movie itself, this was my first time. I never watched the trailer. I never heard about it. I never heard of this adaptation. I knew of like a really old one. I think is what I know there was an adaptation of a really old version, I guess. I've heard of that one. Never saw it. Mainly because I just never really interested me. So this was my first time.
All right. And I guess last for me, oh boy, this movie I've seen twice now. This was my second time, and the first time I saw it, I think, was last year for the first time.
So it obviously improved, right?
We'll get on that. No need to rush on that. We'll get on that. Let's see. That I've seen a live performance of the ballet in person, and it was very well done. And the costume in it I thought was phenomenal. I have also seen the Barbie Nutcracker movie with wonderful voice acting of Tim Curry as the Rat King.
Perfect.
And I feel like there's one other thing about the Nutcracker I've seen, but I can't recall what it was.
There was that short animation. I think
Is it a Disney animation?
I don't know. It
Pixar,
might have been
something
Disney.
else?
Huh.
It was like or I might be confusing. There's that animation with like the toy soldier
Fantasia.
fighting.
Oh,
Yeah,
Fantasia
yeah,
2000.
Yeah, the Fantasia 2000. I don't know.
Yes.
That's not the Nutcracker, but yeah.
A little tin soldier against the Jack in the Box. Very
Yeah.
good animation. I really like that. And that's a little hint of something that they did in this movie, which is a little later. But yeah, that I do like the story of Nutcracker. This story of Nutcracker, I would not say like, but let's go ahead and start. Unless anyone has anything else they want to throw out there before we begin.
No. I haven't.
No, I'm ready to go. To take us away,
All right.
Spriggs.
Sweet. Well, we're gonna start. The structure of this is gonna be pretty linear, not necessarily scene by scene, but from the beginning to the end is what we're hoping to aim for.
Mhm.
And we begin with a very festive-looking London.
Never seen so much CGI landscapes. It was great.
A lot of CGI
Very
landscapes.
real people.
Yeah, it looked fine to me. It looked better than the Jim Carrey Christmas Carol, which was all CGI.
Mhm.
So the touch up in it looked good. I think Big Ben looked great.
For the 2 seconds it was on the screen, sure.
I was a little disappointed with like the first minute was nothing was real. It was all CGI. I was like, okay.
Yeah, I actually have in my notes. I think there was only one scene in the whole CGI pan that I liked, and it's just the person getting hit by a snowball. And the only
That looked very weird.
oh yeah, it actually looked very weird. I agree with that, and I'm like, well, the idea is to create something festive, right? You want to pan through London because you're trying to build up the Christmas spirit as you pan through. I was actually kind of miffed. Like they decided to CGI the whole thing. I think it would have been much more real if we just focused in on that one moment of someone getting hit by a snowball, and then maybe this adult is getting messed around with kids, and he decides to join in with them, and then we just pan, and then we just continue the story as we were, and we didn't do the whole CGI pan. We just had that. It's just real people. I think that would have accomplished the same thing they intended with the scene, and it would have looked real. So
I mean, it is modern Disney. They love to throw CG as
yeah,
much as they can into everything nowadays.
yeah, I know.
Even easy to film scenes.
Very true.
Very, very true.
And this CGI landscape of London takes us to an attic where we get introduced to Clara, I think the main character of this film.
Clara, yes,
Clara, and her brother Fritz.
yes.
Fritz is
In a
great.
very elaborate mousetrap.
Yeah, yeah. It really shows off their intelligence, and then that they had placed the trap right on the door, which immediately diminished it.
I mean, and really have to rely on the mouse just sitting there for a solid minute.
Hey, anything to get a
you
Rube
capture it.
Goldberg in a movie? Come on.
It was distracted by the cheese.
The cheese.
It was very, very enjoyable.
Yeah,
I did like the machine though. It looked pretty good.
yeah. I'm
That
a
she
sucker
was
for those
teaching
kind of
her
things.
annoying, stupid brother about physics and stuff.
Annoying, stupid brother.
I mean, did anyone like Fritz?
I did. Except for one scene.
Was
Different.
Fritz is not a character, so I didn't really.
I mean, yeah, okay.
This is the only time where he functioned as a character, and then he was just gone.
This was
No,
his best moment.
I want to say I'm sick of this whole fucking thing of these movies where they have an ensemble cast introduced in the beginning, and you just focus on one person for the entire rest of the movie. Like, there's no point having the other people here.
Mm-hmm. Well, I mean,
In this case of Morgan Freeman, he was definitely underutilized.
Yes.
I'll agree on that.
All of them, literally. I mean,
Yeah.
like even what was
Ginger.
yeah,
underutilized.
Mother Ginger.
everyone was underutilized. Yeah.
Helen Mirren. Yeah, like freaking ridiculous.
I think actually I take back what I said. Isn't Fritz the comment who's like, if only Mom were here? Or that's not how Mom does it. Is he the one that
no,
did
that's not how Mom. Yeah, it's brutal.
Just instantly, I almost threw my notebook across the room when they said that.
Fritz and Clara were just terrible to their dad.
Absolutely.
They were mean. Yes, it does. I think the only thing they don't really say when the mom died or passed, but the way they act with each other, it feels very recent.
Yeah, it feels
Definitely
like it's
within a year.
It's definitely within a year. I would probably argue within the month, just because they're clearly not settled on the idea yet. So it's very recent death.
I mean, look at the dad. Good casting on the dad, because he always has a "I'm gonna cry" face on.
Oh yeah.
The whole time.
Does anybody want to talk about his obsession with dancing with his daughters?
Yeah, it was as of the time.
I know, but it was
fine with
like it's so weird. I was just like, especially after she wore her mom's favorite dress.
Dance to their first song. That part was a little weird.
That was a little weird. Yeah.
Well, it was
Wanna
kind of
sit
the
down?
mom's choice then to do that.
Yeah.
So out of respect of her final wishes.
Mm-hmm.
Her final wishes. Yeah.
Yeah.
I want my daughter to wear my dress for my husband.
Yeah, and other means, yeah, it would be a bit weird. I think, or
I think
more
it's
weird.
still weird. I don't know.
I don't know. I didn't get any of that.
Get it.
So
I get it, but yeah, like if you just like overthink it, it's weird.
mm-hmm.
And then Clara has a conversation with her dad about going to a party on Christmas Eve, which is also another thing. This movie, I think, takes place all on Christmas Eve. It's never on Christmas Day.
Yeah. Well, we know later on that there's time dilation involved. So.
But
True.
It's still not Christmas Day though, because it's still nighttime. It's still Christmas Eve.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, unless it hit midnight while she was in the clock
Dancing.
or whatever. Wherever the four realms are.
It's in Narnia.
Of the world
That's
here.
what I got.
Yeah, Narnia.
Yeah, I was gonna say I think one of my issues with this is that it leans too heavily into like Narnia and Alice in Wonderland.
It's very weird because it's very like inventor focused.
Mm-hmm.
So it's weird that there's just this magic side that they don't explain really at all. Because originally I'm like, okay, maybe the Godfather made this cool world and it's just exaggerated through the lens of a child. But I don't think that's what it was, because she's not a childish child at all. So I don't think that would work.
Yeah, it's that was something where after I finished watching this, because I didn't have, I mean, I had issues with this movie, but like as I was thinking in my head like, oh, what am I gonna rate this, and then I started thinking about like this, and I was like, yeah, they never explain like this whole magic part of it, which is not, I mean, ignorance is bliss and everything, but like it just seems like too much a part of it to just kind of be like, oh yeah, just go in this world and it's over. Like that's the whole thing.
Speaking about the world, I have a question for the three of you. Do you think the dad knew that his now deceased wife was a queen of this magical land?
No.
No.
Not at all.
Not at
Okay.
all. It's not conveyed in the script.
I don't know.
Yeah,
That would have
just
implied he had some idea about the egg and what it's used for, I think.
Yeah. And
And he definitely had no idea about that egg.
yeah.
No.
I'm
None
sure,
of them did. Fritz is like, it's just a silly egg, and I'm like, there's a fucking keyhole in it, dude. Come on.
You got
Just
a
a silly
silly egg. I
I got a cool
toy,
soldier.
yeah, I got toy soldiers, and your sister got a dress.
Well, we know who Fritz would be in the Four Realms.
Yeah.
True.
I don't know if the dad was intentionally trying to keep Clara in eyesight to avoid meeting the god or seeing the Godfather. I don't know
That
if,
was something that crossed my mind at one point.
if he had didn't like the Godfather.
My
It's like a gray
motivation for that I got from the dad is much simpler. I just assumed he didn't want to be without his family because of the loss of his love of his life.
Yeah.
That's how I read it.
Okay.
Yeah, I kind of took it how Clara put it, where he's just trying to keep up appearances.
Mhm.
Yeah. If you're with your family, it kind of looks better to the peeps.
Well,
The peeps.
I think it's definitely a bit of both. Like, yes, he wants to keep it appearances, but also he just genuinely wants them around right now.
Yeah, because
And
yeah.
Lost the love of his life, and they lost a mother.
It's totally
As
equal.
he put it.
I do like how they keep putting in little parts as we're moving along, little parts to show the the intelligence
Yeah.
of Clara in
Mhm.
these little tests.
Yeah. I like that it
as
was
we
actually
move-
a test. Like, he wasn't a problem he couldn't figure out. At least to me, when she was solving the carousel issue, I assumed that Morgan Freeman, his character, actually already knew how to solve it. He just wanted to see if she could do it.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
See his face.
believe
He
that as
definitely
well.
knew that.
Yeah. Great actor. What is he doing here?
Yeah.
And I guess he knew that she was gonna go into his office, and he set that up for her.
Mhm.
Yes.
If I recall, on one of the posters for this movie, Morgan Freeman is larger on it than the Nutcracker himself.
Yeah.
Well, he's more famous. I mean, even the
I mean, yeah,
ballerina is on the poster.
Yeah.
Oh, it could be a famous ballerina. That I do not know.
People that are only in this movie for 5 minutes are on the poster.
Mm-hmm. Let's see.
Morgan Freeman did, however, have a very large workspace down below.
Yeah,
Yeah.
for a basement workshop. Holy shit.
Yeah, I think that just plays that all these characters have such grand, big things.
Yeah.
They got big
like,
pockets.
What's she complaining about not having her mom around? She's rich. Who cares?
Money solves everything.
It's true.
His mansion did look pretty good. I like how it was designed. I
Yeah.
like the swan sleigh with the orchestra in it.
Yeah.
That was
Costumes were good.
yeah, that was definitely an expense out of him to have a sleigh stage-ish thing for the band to be playing on.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, money didn't mean anything back then. You just spend $100 and you would look rich.
And we got to see a lot of his inventions before entering his inventor room.
And this is where we also learn the importance of the Timberlock key as well for the egg.
That's a real key style, right? Not you can just make it up
I
for the
believe
movie.
so, yeah.
Yeah. I don't know a lot about keys and locks.
I've watched a lot of lock picking videos, and I can say it's accurate.
That part of the movie is accurate.
Yeah, I haven't seen a single episode of Lock and Key. I think that's a Netflix original show, maybe.
If it's a show.
Yeah, I haven't seen any of that, but I have played a rogue in D&D, so I know a little bit about Lock. And
Cool.
before we get Clara, I don't know if anyone wants to touch on this, but before we get Clara to go find the elaborate system of the strings to your gifts,
I like that.
which is, yeah, I think it's a fun little interactive kind of way of finding
Yeah.
things. Though half the house is probably just for the gifts, otherwise the guests would be tripping over strings everywhere.
I'm assuming it was just for the children because that's the only way they could
Yeah.
justify. That's the only way they could justify no one else
Yeah.
stumbling to Narnia.
I mean, Spriggs, you're gonna do that for your Christmas this year, right? You're gonna have a bunch of strings going every which way, and
That was
throwing a
that,
gift.
yeah, that was supposed to be a secret, Sinister, but yes, it will be now. But Clara has a little conversation with her dad, which gets a little higher tension
hmm
than needed, which I think was a good thing in a sense to help make Clara, when she did go through the four realm Narnia portal, to kind of keep her in there, because what she would be returning to is her dad.
hmm Yeah, I
I don't think it's a throwaway scene.
Yeah, I do like this scene. Mostly because they both have to realize that they're both hurting, and right now they're just worried. They're being selfish in their hurt almost. So like that's why they're not getting along in this film, or that's the idea that they're trying to convey. And I think this scene does that the best. One of the few praises I'll have for this film. So.
Yeah, I feel like the emotional stuff in this movie is pretty good, or the emotional messages in this movie are pretty good.
Mhm.
I do think it could use some more of that, because I feel like it's kind of
It gets
shallow
lost.
otherwise.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I don't know, as we move on, I don't know if I haven't read the original Nutcracker and the Mouse King story, but in the ballet adaptation, it is Clara who gets the Nutcracker as her Christmas gift instead of an egg, which happened
Oh,
in
yeah,
the
the
film.
eggs. The eggs.
Yeah. So Fritz getting the Nutcracker was an interesting already start of a twist to me.
Look, I got a Nutcracker soldier. It's your boyfriend.
Yeah.
Yeah, this is a little on the nose there, movie, but I still
Little
smirked.
on the nose.
I still smirked, but you know.
Yeah, I was like, oh, I know what's gonna happen now.
No. And as Clara's going down this huge hallway, which is a bit spooky looking, I like the little detail that the owls of the wallpaper changed to rats. I don't know if any of you caught that.
I noticed that there were owls.
I noticed
I
the
recognize
rats.
them, just
Yeah,
like
I was like,
touching.
Yeah, that's pretty cool. Good detail.
What's the significance of owls? Is there a significance to owls at all?
It's the
What's-
Godfather.
Other than they just hunt rats.
Outside
Is that the parallel?
outside of the Godfather's like pet owl, or you asking
Yeah, that
symbolism?
one.
Like I said, it was
Yeah.
also on the wallpaper. It appears to be this guardian type character.
Yeah, well,
watching over
owls
her.
typically represent wisdom, knowledge, and intelligence, but they can also symbolize transition, change, or death. So I think that encompasses a lot, actually,
Yeah.
for their choice.
True.
I don't. It might be something from the book, or this, like, not the book, the story, and carried it over. But yeah, at least in the movie, it's just the Godfather's companion.
Mhm.
It's like trying to watch over her. I guess also because he has one eye, so and like, the owl, is of sight.
Yeah.
So
Where's
kinda like
the
a-
Nutcracker and the Four Realms prequel covering why he lost an eye? Huh?
this movie
See. Don't answer those questions, because we're gonna get a Captain Marvel kind of movie in answer to those questions. Whereas we'll have movies like Winter Soldier that really build up, the backstory of missing an eye, and then other movies that ruin it and turn it into a joke. So don't do that.
It's a good example. Yep.
Okay.
So, as we know, Clara goes into Narnia and is in a forest
That's
and sees.
that's exactly what I wrote on my notes. Like, just because that's all I can think of. Just because when they arrive in Narnia, it's snow everywhere, covered. I was literally looking for a lamp. It's like, how on the nose is it going to be?
Does
Come
there's
on,
only
Artie.
a tree?
Yeah, I mean, what do you do when you're trying to make a big hit movie? Do you try to do something original? No, you rip off another big hit movie,
Yeah.
and then you just go off of that.
And Disney did Narnia, so
Yeah.
they
Yeah,
didn't.
and
They
it worked there. Come on,
can't sue themselves.
it's true.
Did Clara drink anything at the party?
Oh, come on
I don't
now.
think so.
Are you really about to try and explain this away?
So she didn't get drugged or anything?
I don't
No.
think so. I don't think
No.
she
I
ate
mean,
or
she didn't
drank
get
anything
drugged
this
any more than anyone in like the 1800s or whatever the hell this takes place. I don't know.
I don't know. Maybe the coal fumes. That's probably all you got going for you there, buddy.
I mean, she was up in that attic, and they probably weren't really clean.
That's true.
Yeah.
She
Yes, I did
literally,
try. Okay.
yeah, she
Sue me.
chases mice and captures them. I don't think she's stable.
So a little mouse steals the key that we all believe is to the egg.
Yes.
To
This is
explain-
a repeat character.
Yes. And it
Never
gets
seen mouse before.
by a little
Oh,
mouse who
goody.
runs away in the snow. And as soon as that happens, I guess the magic in the tree starts to die as the fireflies that were lighting it just dissipate.
Huh.
Okay, real talk. Mouse runs away from you carrying something. How fast do you lose that mouse?
Instantly.
Well, it's
It'd be
the
pretty
only
quick in
thing
the woods.
moving right now.
In the woods, in the broad daylight like this, in snow, you actually have
Yeah.
a fair chance of keeping an eye on it. But if it was like,
But
normal.
keeping up with it.
No, if you're sprinting at full speed, you could probably keep up with it. I can see that, though. Like I said,
Maybe.
that diminishes though very quickly once it starts turning and twisting.
Yeah.
So
Yes, it's also an intelligent mouse because it like stares at her.
I mean,
And
all
yeah.
mouse are intelligent. All mice are intelligent.
He even shakes the key in his hand.
what a dick.
I'm the ancestor of Jerry.
That's funny.
Or what was the mouse in Narnia? What was his
Oh, I
name?
don't.
Brigitte.
Oh.
How did you know that?
How did I know that?
Yeah,
I've seen
how did
Narnia.
you? Okay.
I was thinking of the knight's mice from Prince Caspian.
Oh, the same one.
It's not the. I thought that was the same one.
I don't.
Yeah.
I don't. Is it?
Brigitte?
I don't remember if it's Brigitte or not. Okay. Well, I
Yeah,
mean,
he's in the second and third one. He doesn't appear in the first movie.
yeah.
Okay, well, so then yeah, he's only in the Prince Caspian,
The beavers are in the first movie.
which makes sense why I don't remember him because I barely remember Prince Caspian movie at all.
And then there's Despero and a bunch of other mice. And we
Haha!
throw out there.
Motorcycle.
Yeah.
Give a mouse a cookie.
Stuart Little. Anywho. So, Clara's smart enough not to go across a frozen river that's starting to break.
While she's in heels.
Yeah, she actually sees a bridge, which I think is a smart move of her.
Yeah.
She's not that desperate to get the key.
Yeah. Which is
Uh,
which is reasonable,
which is where we come across the introduction to the character whose name is in the title of the movie, the Nutcracker.
Then
I
Nutcracker.
wanted him to have a jaw like the nut.
That
That was something I had that I wrote down. Like, if I saw that, I wouldn't have thought Nutcracker. I would have thought Frozen Dude.
Yeah.
that is my question to give
Mm.
is what of this in appearance says Nutcracker?
I guess
Because it states that he's the
Rico
only
suit,
Nutcracker
yeah.
around. And I can't indicate any difference between him and every other soldier in this movie other than he has a little bit of like silver on his lip.
Oh yeah, and he's supposed to be the only Nutcracker.
Well, he's the only one like out here like on watch or whatever.
Oh, I thought he was saying
He said he was the only one in the world.
yeah, the only Nutcracker.
That's weird. Okay.
Yeah, so I was just trying to figure out what makes him a Nutcracker.
Nothing.
Because of
Well,
that, because
he
there's
breaks the other soldiers' balls all the time. Don't
Yeah.
you remember?
yeah, because there's like no discernible difference. I just assumed that he
Come on.
never mind. I've lost it.
Go
My
on.
thoughts got
Aw.
away.
Oh man.
The
Yeah.
fact that they think any of the soldiers are just titled as Nutcrackers.
Yes, thank you. That's what I was going.
Okay.
Yeah, I assumed Nutcracker was just their word for soldier, and then she
That-
said it as a joke to herself.
Yeah, that would have been it. Except he stated that he's the only one.
Yeah,
in
yes, I
existence.
know. That makes it
So-
worse. What, the script is
all-
inconsistent? I would never have guessed.
We also find out from Sugar Plum later down the line is that they were all originally toys, and Marie gave them life.
Well, just
So-
like throw the baby with the bathwater on that one, huh?
Why do the tin soldiers look like tin soldiers, but the Nutcracker doesn't look like a Nutcracker? I don't get it.
Well, they've all
maybe
been there
it's
for-
because
yeah.
they lack Mary's imagination. I don't know.
Well,
I don't know how the device
well,
works.
No, Philip, Captain Philip, the Nutcracker, says that they're hollow. They're not they don't have a soul in them or whatever.
Yeah.
Mhm.
And so that's probably why they look just like whatever the toy is, because they're not actually like they don't have
They're
any
not
stuff.
solid.
Yeah,
That was
I'm
the
filling
only
in here.
thing.
yeah.
That's right. That's the only thing I kind of went with of a slight explanation as to why things are different. Is if they're hollow, they're more toy-like and can be manipulated easier, and if they're solid, I guess they become real.
Mind you, none of this is in the
Agree
script.
to that. I would agree to that, but we saw Sugar Plum turn into just a doll.
Yeah.
We don't know
So
if that
she
was
had a
a
toy.
solid or a hollow
That kind
doll.
of counteracts it.
I'm gonna guess it was a solid doll.
Yeah.
Why would a toy being hollow mean anything with a soul? I don't know.
Don't ask me. I didn't write it.
I don't know. It's how they slightly explained it. Slightly.
Slightly.
Mother Ginger's clowns were hollow.
It's true.
They're very much alive.
Well, yeah, but they didn't have
That's a
characters.
good explanation. That really throws a wrench in all this.
Yeah,
The clowns were hollow.
and they have a lot of life in them when
Well,
compared.
but they can be not hollow if they're all, because they're supposed to be like the Russian nesting dolls. So technically, when they became living, they were not hollow.
Russian nesting dolls in of themselves are hollow.
That,
Except for the last one, though. The last one's like fully like filled, right?
it's usually like a really tiny piece
yeah,
of wood. Yeah.
the small one is
Last one.
usually.
I don't know. It's
That's- yeah.
a weird plot hole.
Yeah,
Any
it doesn't really
Hoosers.
add up at all.
This captain Philip is guarding a bridge with another crazy contraption. I guess joke to raise the gate.
That was funny.
It also shows that any contraption in the Four Realms is just titled the Four Realms as their
Saw that.
branding,
Yep.
and it's a couple of the mechanics in the world. And so they go into, oh boy, the fourth realm. I don't know what realm was first. I believe through the ballet it
First
kind
one
of
was flowers.
yeah, they kind of named them on how Claire's mom, Mary, the one she visited first, were how they were numbered.
Mm-hmm.
I think they're just saying like at least from like what happens, because technically it's called like, isn't it a land of amusement or something, a realm of amusement.
Yeah.
So they're like, well, we have 4 realms, and this is the one we're not going to talk about. So this is going to be like the 4th. That's how I read it.
I guess that
Everything
also
I
makes
thought
sense.
before.
They could have interchanged the other 3 any way they wanted, and the
Yeah.
4th one is like that's the bad one.
I'm just going with that because technically they're controlling the narrative because they're telling the story. So obviously they would make it so that the one that's bad would come up last, where depending on, because I'm sure probably actually just based on how Mother Ginger, like her world and everything, it's probably was the first one just because of the nature of like the inventions and stuff. So, but if you want something to be bad, it would be the last one you would do, right?
And we can at least chop up the ballet in the Four Realms to just propaganda by
Yeah, that's how
Sirpon.
yeah.
I mean, we could, but the other regions were present and would have been able to say that story wasn't true.
I mean, there's a level of like.
So it would have to be a story they agree with in that play.
Well, yeah, but that's why I said like, so obviously they're not saying that Yeah, but that kind of stuff it gets murky because it's just like
There's also nothing
whatever.
definitive in the script, which
Yeah.
doesn't help. But yeah, sorry, Springs.
All good. That's fine. They go into this fourth realm because Claire is extremely curious and wants that key back, and they call it the Mouse King, but it's the Rat King.
I couldn't understand what he was saying
monster.
half the time.
Well,
Yeah.
that's something to put in there. There are times where they just throw in French words in what they're talking.
Just
A couple characters do that, which is why at times I had to put on subtitles to know what they were talking about. And I'm like, what did they say? What word did they say? And it was later in the film where I think the Sugar Plum Fairy said something in French, and I went, okay, maybe subtitles will explain it to me, and I put them on, and the subtitle in parentheses just said speaks French. So I didn't know what she said.
on Disney Plus?
Good to see the Disney Plus subtitles putting as much effort
that's
into this as the
awesome.
writers and everyone else did.
I love
I mean,
that.
that's the part where Sugar Plum is in the hallway with Clara, right?
Yeah, she's just, yeah.
I think it was when Claire is in
says-
the armor, or like her soldier uniforms
Oh,
when
yeah,
they're
yeah.
heading out. She
Come
says
on
something. And I'm
now.
like, I had no clue what you said. So, but yeah, we have this rat monster, which to me is very upsetting from the stories because the Mouse King is a pretty important character in the story, and they make it, I don't even think, a henchman in this movie. It's just a wild thing in the woods.
Well, I mean,
it's
this
conscious.
is clearly the start of Mouse Rinks and Soldier Boy's relationship. So
Soldier Boy.
Soldier Boy.
Soldier Boy. Blow my
I
whistle,
thought
baby.
the Rat King was actually kind of creative because
Yeah.
in real life, a bundle of rats that are tied together is called a Rat King.
yeah, I took it the same way you did, Crimson. I actually wrote that on my notes. I'm like, the CGI is bad, but I like the reference and their use of creativity here.
I like.
Yeah, I
Well,
like
don't get me wrong. I like the look of it, and I like how it, acts of, this mesh of almost. Sister, help me out. Who's the Vindicator, the ant guy?
Million Ants.
Million Ants. It reminds me of Million Ants in a way,
Mhm.
but it's the fact of how little it was in the movie. So
Yeah,
that's the
well,
part
I
that
mean, like
upsets me.
Mouse Rinks is kind of becomes the Rat King
That's
character.
what
That's
his
the
name
replacement.
was. Mouse
Yeah.
Rings. I was like, 'cause you guys kept calling him the Mouse King, and I was like, that didn't sound like Mouse King when he was saying it. It sounded like Mouse Rinks or something. And I was
Yeah.
like, why is he calling him
Mouse
that?
Rinks, which is a
Yeah.
stupid
Well,
name.
The first time I came across, I heard Mouse Sprinks. And I went,
You're
oh,
like,
me. Great.
Me.
You're associated with this film, huh? That makes you feel.
Oh boy.
Yeah. So, yeah, I assume that Mouse Rinks is the stand-in for the Rat King, or what's supposed to be the Mouse King in this world, for the movie. It's okay.
I don't dislike it. I think it's underutilized
Yeah.
because it
you
could have
know,
been a lot cooler.
Like
Yeah.
the different approach in this adaptation of who the good guys and bad guys and part of the story.
Did anybody else guess the twist like within the first 15 minutes?
First 15?
No.
No.
I figured it out during the ballet. Like she was the only one
Okay,
still.
yeah.
She was still the only one interacting with Clara, and I'm like, they're giving her a lot of screen time. Something's wrong.
There are two hints to me. I think it was roughly in the ballet. There was one in the ballet, but there was two things that caught my eye of like questioning, and I'm like, when are they going to answer these questions, kind of thing. And it wasn't until Clara's interaction with Mother Ginger that I got it, because Mother Ginger wasn't being mean or hostile or yelling at her.
Let's see. Da 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 da. All right, Crimson, go.
Mic check 1 2 3 1 2 3.
Sinister.
Mic check 1 2 3 1 2 3 pa pa pa.
Sprinks.
Audio check 1 2 3 1 2 3.
All right, Kiki Ryder. 1 2 3 1 2 3. And We are live once again. So,
Yeah, so
I
something
guess
we
as
haven't.
host, where do you want to start off?
Well, first I'll apologize about the little hiccup we had in technological flukes.
Don't admit to your failings.
Oh,
You
it's
don't
just
even have to acknowledge it.
so I'm getting on it because it's gonna be a weird cut.
probably. It's probably going to end up being
I
a weird
wanna
cut.
talk about something we kind of skimmed over before probably it cut out.
All right.
Okay, go right ahead.
Did anybody else notice James A. Caster in this movie?
Who?
Okay,
Was
that
he
tells
one
me
of
a
the
lot
two
about
guards?
this.
Was he the fat
Yeah,
guard?
he was the tall one. He was the tall
Oh,
one.
he's the other one. The fat one
Yeah.
looked familiar, but I didn't bother looking him up.
Yeah, no, he's the tall one.
Yeah. When they get to
I-
the castle.
Yeah,
So.
I was like, oh my god, it's that guy, because I saw a stand up on Netflix like probably 3 or 4 years ago, and I was like, man, I haven't seen him in anything since. And then I was like, oh, he's in this movie. It's probably pretty telling of why I haven't seen him in anything since.
Oh.
No, I'm kidding. I'm kidding. But
This the sign
He's
of an
good in it.
ending a career. Yeah.
no, he's. I should probably. We should watch that at some point. But anyways, no. But yeah,
All right.
this is
So,
one of the other times I laughed.
That's it. So we're at the castle.
Yes.
Right at the castle.
We
Let's
just
go
got
that.
here. Yeah.
With Mistress Bon Bon Bon.
And something I wrote down because the Nutcracker explained who Claire is to the two guards, and they even said, "Okay, we still got questions to ask you," but
That
it
was all
didn't
rat questions.
matter what her answer was.
Yeah, I was like, this actually opened up a whole new like avenue of criticism for him. I was like, wow, the Nutcracker just really bought that she was the princess really quickly, and bowed to
Exactly.
her, and then escorted her, and then
Exactly.
escorted her here, and then these guys, he then like defends her honor and like like to just proclaim that she is like the princess, and they just buy it, and I'm like, am I supposed to buy these questions as devotion or skepticism?
I thought that when she crossed the bridge originally, like she didn't show any credentials. She wasn't known to
Yeah.
this world. And he's like, "Okay, princess, I'll take you to the dangerous side.
It's just a
Leave
little,
my post, which I've never done before."
Yeah, it's definitely a little odd. So that's what these two just kind of reinforced that as a flaw in my head, because it was the way he had just suddenly proclaimed her, like he, knew that she was
Yes.
this person.
What about a princess? Can a princess just enter the kingdom all willy-nilly? Well, yes, of course.
Yeah, no one questioned it.
Yep.
Would you have? Come on.
I
Yeah, as someone who's supposed to guard the castle.
But here's the thing: if she is royalty, and you like mess about and do this thing, you're likely to get your head chopped off. Okay. Whereas if you just go with it, worst case scenario, you just let a dangerous criminal inside.
Worst case scenario, I did my duty. They could respect that.
Duty.
If you look at
Yeah.
Knight's Tale, just to get entered into the competition, you have to show your lineage and stuff, proof
How do you do
of
that?
Your bloodline. Well, you get Vision to make up a story and
Vision.
Take
Yeah.
out.
Oh,
Yes.
wow.
Paul
Really,
Bettany.
Paul Bettany.
really
yeah.
underselling that guy's career, huh? Yeah.
But, yeah, even in just a competition, you had to prove your bloodline. But no, princess, you just have to say you're a princess and you're good to go.
I mean, these
Or
guys aren't
someone
really.
point out you're a princess and then you go with it.
I mean, let's just say these guys aren't getting their PhDs anytime soon.
Yeah, I was gonna ask,
regardless.
was this funny?
It was funny to me, but that's just because I like the
No.
guy.
There are little pop-ups here and there I didn't find very funny.
I think it would have been
They
funnier.
could have just
if-
been cut out completely.
I think if they had like kind of made them a little bit more like prevalent in the plot, like
Yeah. I think
and maybe change the characterization a little bit to kind of be more like the two balcony guys in the Muppets.
or the pairings in
yeah.
Pirates of the Caribbean.
Yeah, like something where they're just like kind of like a Rosencrantz and Guildenstern thing, where they're kind of just like commenting on like the absurdity of like the plot or something. That would have been good.
Yeah, I'm kind of in agreement with Crimson. I like I like this joke that they're trying to do here in concept. The problem is it just doesn't land. So I would rather it be cut or reworked. Is kind of where I am with this
I
particular
just
joke.
think these two guards just didn't need to be in the movie.
Yeah, well,
'Cause
my
they didn't really add anything.
my whole rework is in the idea that they would have to be reincorporated in the movie in a different way.
Yeah.
Otherwise,
Oh, yeah,
this is just
but I'm taking it at face value. What they
Yeah.
contributed
yeah,
should be removed.
that's fair.
Anything can be reworked to be better.
That's true.
I will be. I'm just. Yeah, we're just trying to be like, this idea could work, but it doesn't really work in this.
Yeah,
context.
it's not good here in this context. So
Yeah, they would have to redo it.
I think if they did make it better, it would have had to include him in more scenes, or at least just in the background to be seen, because I think they only pop up 3 or 4 times in the whole movie.
They
Yeah.
pop up in this scene. They pop up during
they
like the
go to the fourth
recruitment.
realm,
Yeah,
and
yeah,
at
and
the
then whatever.
very end.
Yeah.
yeah,
Oh,
I mean, it
but
would be-
also in the woods when everyone gets
yeah.
killed or
yeah,
taken away.
It would have been interesting to see how they dealt with that situation.
Mhm.
Because I think that in and of itself could have added enough character. Like, is it a reason for them to be here? But we don't really
liked to
see
see
much
them
of them.
fighting.
Yeah,
Rather than just get thrown in a dungeon.
yeah.
If they were thrown in the dungeon, I don't even think we saw them there. But
Oh, that-
Yeah, they were. Yeah.
They were in there, but we'll get to that when we get there.
Yeah.
It's a
So-
weird character to be like the main background character, and that's what I'm gonna say. Like it's a hard thing to accomplish.
so the Nutcracker escorts Clara up to the council, I guess. And to me, they're very exaggerated, very dramatic
hmm
group of characters. Maybe the ice
Oh,
guy's a
yeah.
little more mellow, but I still think he's dramatic to his appearance of like
Shiver.
cold shiver guy. Which to me was just
I'm Mr.
They were-
Ice.
they were very cartoony over the news of Mary being dead.
Yeah. Yes.
I didn't like the regents.
I mean, they didn't really serve a purpose. Was the problem?
The only
They were
region
just annoying.
the only region they were supposed to care about at the end of this scene is Sugar Plum, obviously.
Yeah.
Where they actually gave like an actual A-list actor. to play.
Shiver sounded familiar. I think I need to look him up.
I don't know.
Yeah,
most of the people
I
in this
recognize
movie I've
Shiver the
never seen
actor as
before.
well. I don't know what he's from though.
I'll look it up. You keep
Well,
going.
oh yeah, there was something coming up where Clara was explaining, because I think it was the Sugar Plum asked Clara, "Are you here to save us or fight our war?" She said, "No, I have to get back to," she said, "Christmas party." I think
Just
that was
And
her
they're like,
response.
oh, we love Christmas.
Oh yeah, and what's Christmas?
Yeah, what's Christmas? That is the line that I don't believe, because the
Oh,
Nutcracker
like the
explained-
Christmas tree forest.
Yeah, they have a Christmas tree forest. Has he not heard of the Christmas tree forest? Or
Shiver was in Doctor Who.
Yeah.
2012, 2013. I don't know what season that would be. Or Matt Smith. Oh, he's also in The Rise of the Skywalker.
Oh yeah, Richard E. Grant.
Oh, it's
Yeah.
Richard E. Grant then. That makes a lot of
Yeah.
sense. There you go.
Yeah, he's big.
He's big.
At least he's getting his paychecks.
He wasn't co-starring with
I
Tom
mean, that's
Hanks.
Morgan
He can't be
Freeman.
big.
He just did this for a paycheck.
As anybody would have done if they were in this.
But yeah, Spinks, I agree with the Christmas thing. That doesn't add up.
Absolute inconsistency. Yeah.
being like one, the main heads of one, a whole realm, and two, part of the council, and not knowing what it is.
Mhm.
That's just not knowing your world.
That's just like being uninformed, uncultured trash.
The only thing I would accept is if this whole castle was because he was the flower one, if it was in the flower realm, and
They
it's like
don't
he's
yeah.
left or gone outside his place, then that would be okay-ish. It would say something about his character, but I think that would be more okay. But I believe they're all in is the castle even in a set realm, or is it kind of like a hub in the middle?
I think it's a hub because she actually goes to like their realms and
I
It's
can't.
not the same place.
Yeah, it feels like the castle's like its hub, but the only one that's and there's a bridge across the river to the Mouse Realm, and then we do have like during the ballet we cut away to her touring the realms.
Yeah,
It's a
and they
hot
don't
air
seem to-
balloon like her mousetrap.
Whoa, good eye there, Crimson. How far would you have to look to find that one?
Shockingly enough, it was pretty surface level.
Oh, okay.
We also learned that the sugar plum has wings here and can fly.
Because she got super excited for a second.
Which,
Yes,
yeah.
to point that out now that they showed us she can fly now.
Yes.
In case it's important, maybe, possibly later in the film. Who knows?
important later.
So
That is what we
I
call
just
it.
put that in there.
For those who are just arriving to the podcast, and this is your first episode, that is what we call a setup.
Yeah, that is a Chekhov's gun if ever I did see one.
Also, I have noted that London looks far more festive than this castle.
Yeah.
Well, at least they filmed in a real house in London.
Yeah. I do like the aesthetic overall because I kind of like that Tinker Toy era, steam kind of style. Not the castle doesn't really have that, but I do like that kind of old timey thing.
Okay.
Yeah.
So, at the end of this particular council scene, did
Mhm.
anyone else feel like her asking the Nutcracker to stay and escort her was too fast?
No,
I was like-
they
'cause I-
bond, like, it's kind of like a Mr. Tumnus thing where, it's kind of like the
He's
first
her
person you
first
meet.
interaction to this world.
Yeah,
What makes him to want to stay, but she's the one that asks him to stay. She orders him to stay when he was going to leave.
I'm
Yeah.
fine with the interaction because he's kind of the only connection she has to anything here as of right now.
yeah.
She literally
'cause-
just met these regents.
yeah.
So if I were in her shoes and I went into a completely new reality here, I'd kind of latch on to the first kind person I met.
As you would.
Which also brings up the point where she does not act like a normal person would in this world.
Wait, are you saying she's some sort of character?
I mean, the Nutcracker's like, "Oh, don't go over to the realms. It's very dangerous. People don't make it out of
But I
there."
lost my key.
And she's like, "Oh, I'll go into the dangerous place where I'll probably die because that's what you said people do there. It's kind of a favorite pastime people do there is die." So I don't know.
Yeah.
Not realistic.
Okay.
And in that sense,
Okay. I was just curious. What
especially as a
aspect.
kid,
As
Yeah,
a
I think it's
kid-
fun that she latched on to the Nutcracker.
Yeah, it does seem fast, but I think it makes enough sense where it's like you wouldn't think too deep about it. Yeah.
I saw it more as like a professional thing and less of a like they're connected as characters thing.
Yeah.
Yeah, I would have bought the professional angle, but the problem is they really only do interpersonal stuff between them. So I never really bought that it was a professional reason. Because I if they leaned into that a bit more, I would probably subscribe to that reason.
Fair enough.
Each his
I
own.
have to keep it that way for it to work.
Fair enough.
If I do it any other way, my brain will explode.
My brain won't let it happen.
Yeah, it doesn't. Yeah, like I said, that I'm kind of in your boat, Crimson, where it's like, yeah, that's pretty much the only way I can view it because otherwise it does really break apart, which sucks.
Oh.
When a little observation I had when Sugar Plum said, "Have you come to save us, Clara?" Her mom's
Clara.
throne is behind her, showing wings behind her back, kind of like a savior. Yeah. There you go. Good job on
Yeah.
whoever set up that shot, because I'm sure that was intentional.
I mean, the visuals in this are pretty good. I gotta say. Even with all the
apart
CG
from the CG itself, but
Yeah,
like the
yeah.
aesthetic and the camera and stuff works.
Yeah.
I agree.
I agree.
Okay.
Go ahead, Sprinks.
Sorry. So it goes on
Leave that in,
to
please.
So then it goes on to the little talk in the hallway of Sugar Plum and Clara to Sugar Plum showing that they have means to go into, I don't know what you even would call it, Earth, human world, or something.
Earth.
That they
I
go,
didn't like this scene at all.
that they can go through the clock, which to me was very Alice in Wonderland because it was like a portal, and they were smaller size, so it changes their height, and then they also indicated that there's a time difference between them, but the world wasn't frozen and people were still moving in slow motion, which tells me it wasn't as slow as I thought it would be. Or
It's
I'm glad you're
Yeah.
pointing this out because I had the same thought.
yeah. I was like, why?
Even
couldn't
at
they
that
just do- yeah.
speed, they'd be on the next day by the time she leaves the Four Realms.
Yeah.
also,
Because they were at what, quarter speed probably there.
I would
25%?
probably it felt like 10% to me.
Yeah.
And to be fair,
So-
the only benefit they get is just because they zoom in on the dad who's sitting still, and while there are
Which is a
people
weird way to
moving-
show time moving. Yeah.
Yeah, which is
Somebody not moving.
which is a weird way to show because you do see people moving around him, and I would say it's like 10% speed. It feels like. So I can buy the 6-7 hours have passed by the time they get out.
It's just weird because they're doing this whole thing. Like my problem with it, because I like kind of the idea of it, but it's a weird thing to kind of have like this whole like magical world and not explain it, and then do this whole scene like showing time moves slower, even though you could just be like, well, yeah, time moves differently in here, and then that could be the end of it. Like it's a weird kind of juxtaposition of like kind of an over explanation and then under explanation. I don't know. Just kind of rubs me the wrong way.
it brought up a question to me was how long. Well, a couple things. First off, can anyone in the Four Realms age?
Well, they're
'Cause
toys, so
time
no.
is different. Okay.
They
So-
don't act. Yeah, they're toys. They don't age.
Okay, so the Nutcracker, when he was first introduced, and Jingles, his horse, they were both like frozen in time until interacted with. They were just like
no
statues.
idea.
No idea.
No idea.
Well, Jingles
Well,
to me was
no.
definitely frozen. He was a frozen horse until he was touched.
No, because the regents all acted like they haven't seen Marie in a long time. If they're frozen in time, it would have only been seconds since Marie had been there.
Well, they
So
all. Yeah, but
time
they-
has passed for them,
Yeah.
definitely.
Okay, because I was gonna add, I was thinking when was the last time Marie was there, and
No
the
idea.
difference of time between her death to when Claire
Well,
arrived.
So there's a scene early on in the beginning where when Claire's talking with the Godfather, and he mentions how her mother used to like bury her head in her books when she first came to live with him, and that the only thing that got her to leave was that egg. So I'm assuming that possibly she was kind of in this magical fantasy world, and it was kind of getting to a point where she just wasn't interacting with real people and didn't trust real people or something. And then with the egg, which we'll find out later, kind of made her find her true self, and that like that was important. I don't know. That's what I'm assuming. So probably since she was a little girl, she hadn't been there. But then there was a picture of her older, so I don't know.
I was about to say that. There's a
Yeah.
picture of her as an adult. So, who knows? Since time slows down there, she could literally go to the bathroom, go to the realms if she has access to that, or just she have to go to the mansion every time.
Now, well, another thing, the picture of her was a painting, correct?
Yeah.
Okay. One thing that popped in my mind. This is what writer says right in the script forum, which is a bit crazy.
Somebody do that all the time. Come on.
I don't know. The only thing shown of being able to go back and forth is first off the tree log that Clara came through, which is normal
The
size to
wardrobe,
normal
yes.
size.
Yeah.
But the wardrobe, yes. And this clock where time freezes. So I'm thinking if someone went through the clock and saw Marie there in the house, could have painted her then. Without Marie actually being in the realms. That's what I'm thinking.
Mm,
I don't know if there's
It's
any
possible.
portals
It's a stretch.
or looking through glass mirror, or looking through the looking mirror or something, to see Marie any other way. It was the thing that was a painting. So I don't know if Marie actually had to be there in the realm for it to
You
be
know what?
made.
I have an idea. Let's call the guy who wrote this movie and figure out exactly what's going on here.
Could
'Cause now I'm
Clara
intrigued.
have jumped off that clock and just entered the world as a tiny person?
Well, because
Wow.
Sugar Plum was like, "Don't move, like keep still," so they don't notice, which is a whole other thing. Also, they're tiny. They're small.
She entered the world normal size, but through the clock has shrunk.
Yeah.
Or
And
not.
I think even with the timing of that, of them on the clock in normal speed, if you were going normal speed, that clock going through would have been fast.
It takes a month to get through an hour.
Is this the
actually
thing
no?
that like
it would be the inverse.
this movie's gonna be remembered for forever? Is this one scene where it just kind of breaks the whole movie?
Well, it's just a scene we're starting with right now.
Well, yeah. What do you
So
know?
this-
Time travel breaks the fucking film. I don't know.
It's not even time travel. It's like time dilation, which is, I guess, even more complicated. I don't know.
It
It would be easier because you can just solve it with math.
Yeah.
So
I think the problem is they're showing it. If they just like mentioned it, it
That's
wouldn't be a huge issue. They're showing it, which makes it not make sense because there's issues with the logic.
It's the time where you want to tell to show.
Yeah, because like I said, that was like my problem. I was like, they could have just said time moves differently here.
I
And that would
mean,
be
they
the end
could.
of it.
I
You
mean, they
wouldn't-
could have said time moves differently here, and they could have just panned outside and showed how everyone was pretty much
Yeah.
standing still instead of everything slowly moving. That would have worked too. Like if you wanted to
Yeah.
have the fucking visual.
Mhm.
I'll jump a little farther after
Don't be careful. You might hit the
the
ceiling.
explanation. Yeah, to when Sugar Plum is getting Clara to look like a princess and look good. There's a very weird, and I don't know why they really did it, odd mirror transition. I don't know if any of you caught it. She's looking at the standing mirror, and Sugar Plum's still talking to go with the transition, so it isn't just like a cut. And while she's speaking, and the next shot comes up, Claire is sitting at a different part of the room. And it just threw me off because it was very odd to me.
I mean, time passed, so I guess she could have just moved while doing makeup, right?
The audience, you like all those
the fact that-
time-based questions?
The weird thing to me was the Sugar Plum Fairy was still talking through it. Like it was just a flow
Yeah, but
of
it didn't
conversation.
take her. It didn't literally take her 1 second to do the makeup and hair. Okay.
No, that's not
okay.
what
Yeah.
Okay, all right.
I'm talking about the overall like non-existent montage of it from like one thing to the next. I mean, when going from the standing mirror to the sitting in a different part of the room, the Sugar Plum Fairy was still speaking to her. It didn't stop and start up like it could have been a different conversation.
Oh, like
kind of
it
thing.
didn't feel like the conversation cut off. Okay.
Yeah.
That makes
She's
sense.
continually still talking, which that was the weird thing to me. Like they just teleported.
They were running low on time. They just had to really get it. I don't know.
I'd have to see specifically what you're referencing because I didn't notice it. But
Yeah, I didn't notice.
Conceptually, it sounds like it would have just been smoother to do it this way instead of having her stop talking and then there'd be silence. Or a new
I
topic.
think the only caveat is that when the transition finishes and we're like focusing back in on her, I remember Clara being the one to speak, so it's feels like it was, and the continuation of the conversation felt like an add-on. But I don't remember the scene as well, and I haven't only seen this movie once, so
I
fine.
definitely remember the scene looking weird, but I can't like picture it in my head right now.
That's okay.
I
It
know
just
what he's talking about. Yeah.
me, so I wrote it down. But, and then we go on to the ballet. And from the start, I've already heard things about the ballet. So who wants to start that off?
I like
I'll let
the
someone
opening
else go
visual. There we go. I'm done.
I do as well.
Oh, the silhouettes.
Yes, for the orchestra.
Yes, that is actually a little fun fact.
Oh, give us another fun fact.
That silhouette is paying homage to Fantasia.
Oh, well, that makes
They
sense.
started their things with the silhouettes.
I like that. I like Fantasia, even though a lot of people don't like Fantasia.
Is that true?
I think a lot of people like the first Fantasia. A lot of people don't like Fantasia 2000, but I think I like Fantasia 2000 more than the original Fantasia.
I'm in agreement with Sinister. I
With
prefer
the
the
You
2000s.
guys were born with the 2000s.
yeah, but also, I do my favorite one that's in Fantasia that I probably like even more than any of the ones in Fantasia 2000 is the Sorcerer's Apprentice. That's amazing. It's probably my favorite one. But no, yeah, I had heard some things before watching this that the ballet in this or the dance sequences or whatever in this movie, because it's based off of
Yeah.
it's based off a story which then made ballet, so it's complicated. But I'd heard that they were not good, and I was like, I don't know how they could do that if they have an actual like ballet to work off of. It seems like it would be really simple to just kind of do that.
So now that you've seen it, do you have your answer?
The problem was they didn't shoot it like you would shoot a ballet. Like the dancing itself, I think is okay. I'm no expert, so I'm not gonna
I'll
throw
say
myself down on.
I'll
You
say
did some ballet and jazz and tap, didn't you?
I did, but I'm not an expert enough where I can be like.
I'll say the choreography is passable. I felt like it because it's very very rushed. That was what that you can tell.
Yeah.
That's why that's where most of the issues I had with the
main. Yeah, I think like other than how they shot it, which is not like I don't know if you've ever seen like a stage ballet performance or anything. You kind of have to see it a certain way, or else it just looks kind of silly. I guess I don't. You know what I'm saying.
Yeah, I mean like
so.
Here, so when you're filming a stage ballet, you're essentially just filming one angle from the stage. You obviously focus in on the main characters and what they're doing on screen and stuff like that. But you're not really transitioning through the studio. You're just you're looking at from the same 90-degree angle. You're just functioning within that.
Yeah, because the whole thing is like. The transitions come from the stage directions, which is the lighting and all that stuff, but you don't actually use like the camera to transition, which is one of the issues here. The other one being that the whole point of a ballet is telling a story without having a narration.
Yeah, we didn't need we did not need the conversation. If this was a well-directed ballet, the conversation did not need to exist.
Yes.
I think
we need
best
it
way
for the
of doing
kids
this
to understand.
No, we don't.
Doing this would have just make it just the ballet, so it's just the visual and music with no discussion points. I think that would have been the best way.
Yeah.
I think a better way than they did it was don't cut back to Sugar Plum and Clara sitting there. Like Sugar Plum can talk while we're still watching.
Well, first off, talking during a ballet really rude, unprofessional.
Yeah, but like, that's more believable because I would prefer that. It felt like even if you're just watching the ballet and Sugar Plum is talking over it, you would at least feel like it's just you're a member of the audience and the person next to you is talking to you about it because you're just happen to be new to this particular ballet. Yeah. So you can get away with that. I'm kind of in agreement there, Springs. Obviously, the ideal way is just let the ballet speak for itself.
Yeah, but the fact that it kept cutting back to the two of them sitting there and chatting was the part that I'm like that makes it worse.
Yeah.
I did, however, really like the I don't even know what to call it. The screened floors.
Sets.
Of like actual imagery coming out of the floor of the flowers and the snow. That was cool.
That is stuff that they do these days, and that is awesome to kind of see it.
Yeah. And I liked probably my favorite sequence of the whole dance was when the rats or the mice, but they made them look like rats, came out.
Yeah,
I like that.
Wound up.
Yeah,
which is
weird. Yeah.
Well, the only connection I made with that is afterwards, or not afterward, later. There's a box of wound up mice that they have in the castle. So I think that's like how they connected that.
It's a toy factory.
Yeah.
I guess this is a nitpick, but I did like the physical flowers flipping and stuff. That looked really cool during the Land of Flowers. But then they started projecting flowers on the ground, and I'm like, do they have projectors that can do that in these four realms? We've seen that they aren't really advanced with technology. those were no magic flowers. So that kind of took me out a little bit when they started using projectors.
Yeah, that is a world building issue. I can agree with that.
Because the snowflakes in the back I thought were, but then they showed a side view where it was actually physical snowflakes. Like, okay, good. That's good. I like that. But the projected flowers I didn't like because we already were shown that they used physical ones. So why not just keep that up?
Because cool visual, man.
Oh, it was cooler when they were physical.
I agree.
A little nitpick out of it.
Yeah, fair enough. Yeah.
I'll go to where I had my first thought that something is up with the Sugar Plum Fairy, which is when it cut to showing off the Land of Sweets.
Yeah,
The
they're
first,
touring the realms.
the first thing I saw was that there was like a whole thing of like candy canes and ice cream looking in the background, and a line of gingerbread men all holding hands, like spanning a circle. They have bites taken out of them.
Okay.
Which to me, look, I might be thinking a lot into this, which is something I kind of do.
You are, yeah.
I mean, this is the podcast to do that, so go ahead.
Yeah, go on.
And men weren't just, they could have been whole to show, because there was nothing wrong with the flowers. The flower place looked fine. There was no dead flowers, and the ice place wasn't melting or anything. But the gingerbread men had bites out of them, and the only connection I really had with that was Mother Ginger is the bad person, so it's like attacking the gingerbread men kind of thing. So that was a question. I'm like, there's something off with the Land of Sweets. And then my second thing that popped in mind was, where are all the Sugar Plum people? Because the only people in this kingdom are flowers and the ice people. There are no Sugar Plum people.
Gingerbread man.
Well, I mean, there's no actual like walking around.
I know. No, I got you. Yeah.
There's just no people of sweets, which was maybe something was off.
Racist.
Well, I didn't know if she killed off all her people or she's the only one of her kind, and I didn't know. And I'm like, maybe they'll explain it later in the movie. So that's where my thought was that something was up, but it wasn't, set in stone of like, oh, she's the bad guy kind of thing.
I'm gonna go with you're overthinking it.
Just a little bit. I like the idea though, because there's. Really
I don't know why she would kill her people, because as a villain, we'd never see her think that way. She just wants control. She doesn't want to just do genocide, especially of her own people.
Well, I mean, genocide in a way. I mean, she does. She's willing to freeze her own men into a fucking animatronic state forever.
That's a
but that's not killing them, right? That's just putting them on ice.
I guess there's one more thing which is a little off. I mean, it's fine because the ballet, and they pair the ballerina to the. Unfortunately, I don't know the name for a male ballerina.
Just a ballerina.
Oh, they're just both okay, I didn't know if there was.
I'm assuming so. I've never heard that.
Yeah, I haven't heard a difference, and like I said, I've been dragged to a few shows at this point. Don't worry, I got my revenge.
Well, apparently ballerina is a female ballet dancer. I don't know what the male is, but go on.
Okay. So they paired in showing off the flowers. It was the one indicated to represent Marie, which is the one we've been following, and it showed her in the Land of Flowers with a male ballerina who looked like the Lord of Flowers that we've seen before.
They're called a dancier.
A dancier or a principal dancer.
Yeah.
Gotcha. So a dancier. And when she went to the Land of Snowflakes, the dancier there looked like the Lord of Shiver. But when she went to the Land of Sweets, there was no one to resemble the Sugar Plum Fairy.
Yeah.
It was another dancier in, I think, gold. Look of it. So that was just another thing that was.
Go to the element that we brought up that this kind of felt a little rushed, the ballet part. Because they shoved in the hot air balloon tour bit during this, which is something they didn't need to do during the performance. So it was just a way to cram in information without actually trying to do a cool performance. I think.
How is this?
They use it as a tool instead of an entertainment.
Yes.
How is this almost 2 hours long and still felt rushed? I don't understand.
Yeah.
Well, I apologize for saying killing off her people. We do see her people they're in the balloon, like overlooking the Land of Sweets, but I didn't see any of those people at the castle. That's the thing that was odd to me.
We only know that her
Okay.
soldiers work for her. Like the soldiers were hers, evidently.
Yes, because she gave them life. Or
Life or something. Is it around here where we get introduced to like the machine?
I think this is just after this. Yes,
Okay.
yes,
after
wanna
the
jump too far
tour. Yeah. I guess we have any final things to say about the ballet?
Could have been better, but it also could have been worse.
Sugar Plum starts eating her own hair.
Yeah, because she gets really excited or nervous.
I mean, if your hair is essentially cotton candy, may as well.
Yeah, I thought. Yeah.
But is she bald?
No.
Do they not have any insects in the Four Realms?
Apparently not. No.
Her head should be swarming by bugs.
They only have mice and mice.
Just a visual gag. That's fine.
They do mention Mother Ginger a little bit more. That she was like,
Oh, they said she started the war.
yeah, she was doing war on the other realms and.
From what they've said.
Did they ever give a motive to why she was bad?
No.
No.
They're
They're just like,
she's evil. You'll die if you go over there.
yeah, it was just like.
Like I said, the only thing that's working for the film in this sense is Sugar Plum is manipulating behind the scenes.
Yeah, it was just like, oh yeah, she's bad. Like when, because it's weird because they're like, oh well, when Maria was, or is that the mom's name?
Marie.
When Maria was alive in here, she was. I can't remember if they said here or alive, which would be weird because they just found out she's dead. So it'd be weird if they were like, oh, when she died, Mother Ginger tried to take over or something. Yeah. But
Yeah,
that's
I
like all.
find it a little interesting that Claire is very intelligent, as it's been showing from the beginning of the movie.
Mechanically smart, yeah.
Yes. So her mom, she gets it from her mom, I'm believing, because they explain how the machine works and that Marie created it. But it's just interesting to me that Marie, going to this world, started becoming Frankenstein and making her toys alive. It gave me a real Small Soldiers feel.
Yeah.
Just making these toys come alive.
I also had that.
What was this realm then? Was it just a few colorful forests with a box
Crimson,
of
you
toys
stepped on the
in each?
huge, big problem here, where it's magical, but it's also science.
Did each realm have a box of toys that she made to populate the realms? How does it work?
Inhabited?
Is she the god of this land? Was there life before?
We don't know.
They showed her going to each place, but they said that she made them. So how does that work?
Also, that's a lot of toys.
Yeah, a lot.
That's a lot of people, a lot of toys. So you're right. She was a rich kid.
She was a
rich family.
Well, look at The Godfather.
They had servants, so
yeah. It's weird. It's a weird part of this.
The realms would have to be empty then, huh?
Yeah.
If she made them, she made this whole world.
I guess so.
But then again, what did Godfather do? What did Morgan Freeman do? This was in his house.
He helped make the. He was a founder of the Four Realms mechanics to make all the robotic stuff. Because it's never said if he's actually been there.
Well, he puts a
string through it, unless the owl did that. And it's in his house, so I would assume he's been in there. He pushed his daughter or whatever to do it, Marie.
He pushed her in.
Yeah, literally tossed her in. We're getting some Belle vibes here, where the world doesn't add up.
Well, because it's just such a big part of the movie. That's the problem. If it wasn't such a huge part of the movie, you wouldn't question it so much. But it's integral to the story making sense.
Yeah.
Well, And you brought up a good point about how when Marie was dead, but the world didn't know that. Sugar Plum was already doing stuff deviously in the background by pushing out.
Well, she had
I'm
to
sure-
be, yeah.
I'm sure she was doing that when Marie was still around.
Well,
Well,
no,
her
'cause-
reasoning for turning was because she got left behind and ignored.
Yeah.
Well,
So
I
she wouldn't
think-
have done it while Marie was there, because
well, I think she could have because Marie wasn't always there. She'd leave and come and visit, and leave and come and visit. So I think it's a thought that's been in her mind. I don't think she actually started anything, but I could believe she's been thinking about it.
I'm
I think
kind
that
of.
would be worse for her character.
I think she has been, but it's just because Marie's been missing for a long time. So whether or not she knew she'd passed away, she was already acting out on her own to do all this because it's the only way it could make more sense.
I mean, like, if even in, like, you know, in, like, the best situations, you know, some people are just predisposed to kind of being bad. So I'm sure that probably, like, when Marie was there, she was, you know, happy and on good behavior and everything, but she was probably already, you know, kind of, you know, twisted in some form to, you know, want control of some sort. I don't know.
I can
Could we-
believe more that the Sugar Plum Theory did have thoughts about it because she plays this huge long con with Clara.
Not just Clara, but the
Yeah.
other regions.
Yeah.
Until she got what she wanted, she kind of gave that whole tone shift.
Did we
Literally.
find out why Mother Ginger got banished? It was established that Sugar Plum enacted it and stuff, but did they explain how she got away with kicking her out?
I don't think so.
They don't really explain that. No, I don't
Yeah.
remember if they did.
So that would just have to mean all the other regions got swayed from banishing one of their beloved Marie's regents while she's away.
Yeah, like I said, I can think of a few reasons that they could have worked into the story, but they don't work anything into the story for us to figure out. So
Yeah. I don't know. I don't really know. It's complicated.
So with that, still things
Oh,
unexplained.
I like the, yeah.
Um,
With the engines.
yeah.
Right? Engine.
I was gonna say after the talk of the keyhole being the same and just figuring out like, oh, you need to find that key.
or we're all gonna die. One of those.
Yeah. Yeah, Sugar Plum made it like quite dire. It goes to Clara kind of just sleeping and having, I don't think it was a dream, but just like a memory of an earlier Christmas with her mom. Maybe her
Yeah.
last Christmas with her mom.
I'm just
And
gonna say this
this-
now. The mom clearly has a favorite child.
Yeah.
I wrote that down at the very end. She did not care about her other two kids.
Her other
Right,
three
right,
kids.
and as soldiers.
Oh no, yeah, died the two.
There's some things, I think one thing that worked very well, which is odd to me, maybe it only I really saw it, but I realized pigtails on someone makes someone look so much younger,
Yeah.
even though the actress is the same age. For
Yeah, you don't see too
Clara.
many adults with pigtails.
Well, no, not adult. Yeah, for Clara, because all they did is change her hair, and to me, it made her look younger. And another thing that was weird, though, that I don't know how normal this is. There's lit candles on the tree.
That was something that had happened before. That's
That's a
not-
major
okay.
fire hazard.
Major fire hazard. But
Yes.
remember, this is also like 1900s, right?
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
they could get away with some
Yeah,
stuff like
was
that, but
something
it's still
existed.
yeah.
I mean, yeah, they still had like freaking whale oil lamps.
Yeah.
So
And Godfather making these. I don't know. What were those lights leading up to his mansion that had gears? Was that just like a pneumatic system that would perpetually add oil over time or something?
The one with the two weights when they were in the getting up to the house. You mean?
Yeah.
I had no idea what the function of that was.
Yeah. The only thing I could think was it would add oil when necessary. Yeah, but I don't know. Because we also saw the rotating like coat rack and stuff, and Fritz was like, "Oh, that's magic."
Magic. Beautiful magic.
Magic.
I don't know how we got back to there. But I was
So Clara then gets awakened by the owl and goes up to the top of her tower.
Her tower.
Yeah. And I couldn't tell if the tower was connected to the castle. I think it's connected to the castle because she's overlooking at another realm's like town,
Yeah.
and I didn't know which one that was.
I assume it operates like the Tower of the Hand for the Red Keep. It's a part of the keep itself, but it's definitely its own separate structure.
God, we're getting so many freaking other things in this movie.
Yeah.
Well, since we're speaking about other things, Clara interacting with the owl reminded me of Alice interacting with the caterpillar in the Tim Burton Alice in Wonderland.
I mean, yeah, there's a lot of freaking Tim Burton. Alice in Wonderland here.
But this scene's also important because it is after the scene she's more resolved to get the key back, because she, misses her mom, and this is her only connection to her that she has, or she thinks she has, I should say.
Yeah.
in her stupid music box.
Her stupid music box.
So, anyone have any other notes on the whole night sequence?
No.
We acknowledged that Marie. Well, Clara asked if she could go to Marie's childhood fantasy land in the memory, and Marie said no. Essentially,
Yeah.
Why do you think that is?
I don't know. That was weird.
Because I didn't understand that at all. I think they both could have fit through that log.
I don't know. Maybe it was like a thing of where she felt like, because with the egg and everything, like everything you need is. Maybe she felt like if she went there, it would, or maybe she knew something wasn't right, or
I think she was planning a lesson for her child the whole time.
I don't know. It's weird.
Yeah, I don't know. That didn't really make sense to me.
I do like, even though the mother clearly plays favorites, I do like that this shows that at least the flashback as to why Clara likes her mom so much is because, her mom kind of embraced her differences with the world.
Yeah.
So they weren't flaws to her mom, which is a nice touch, I think.
I agree.
She gets a good parent card, at least for Clara.
For as much as she's in the movie.
Yeah. She gets it only for Clara, though. Can't say it for the other kids.
And I guess from the night, we then go to, funny enough, the night to the soldier scene of the morning when they're all dressed as soldiers. And they're going to head out. Yeah. They're going to head out to the fourth realm, which they didn't show.
Hey, they have an army.
Well, true. An army. I couldn't tell if the gate they're using is the front gate.
I think it was.
I assumed it was the bridge gate.
Yeah.
So whichever gate was leading to the bridge. So it's the one that they arrived on.
The front.
Yeah.
I think it's. I would believe it's more of a side entrance or a bridge gate than the front gate, because it didn't really make sense to me that the main gate would lead to the fourth realm.
Well,
why not?
If
there was a time where the fourth realm was a good place, so I don't know why we have to change the architecture because it turned bad or something. I think it's fine.
And I mean, at this point, wouldn't you have your main gate towards your enemies? Because I'm assuming you could stack your castle walls, but whatever.
Whatever.
Was the castle a toy?
I don't know.
Or was that built?
I think it's easier to think that it was built than the machine enlarging a toy castle.
Good point.
I can only agree. Yeah.
I don't know. It's weird.
We get to see this two stupid guards again, being stupid once more.
Oh yeah.
Two stupid
It
guards.
was only stupid because they were trying to be funny and failed in my eyes to be funny. Were they funny to any of you at this point?
Not in this particular scene.
I'm in agreement. They weren't funny like at all.
I don't think
I
they were
know
funny
what
here.
they're trying to go for, and I don't think they got it at all.
Yeah, I can agree.
I
At least okay. I can. What I got is like these two jokesters want to do something with their lives. That's kind of what I got, that they want to be here for this. They obviously don't succeed in that execution at all, but that's what I thought they were trying to go for.
Yeah, I agree. He went for that.
And we go into the fourth realm where we come up to a amusement park, a rundown amusement park look, with an army of, what's the great word? They're not cowards, but they're very scared.
Yeah, they're not soldiers really.
Because no one wants to go in except Clara.
Yeah, Clara gives
Their
orders
princess
very well.
that they
Yeah.
praised.
Yeah,
Let her go first.
Let her go first.
they clearly Clara gives orders very well, and I don't know if she had. I could assume she seems like a reader, so I'm totally fine buying her that she
She
could.
seems like she reads a book or two.
Yeah, I'm totally fine that she took charge fairly quickly. I was just surprised that everyone else seemed to not be surprised, because
Well,
with
the
how
Nutcracker-
with how Clara has been throughout the film, you don't really get the impression that she knows how to take charge in his command, like knows how to give commands. So while I'm fine with that, I think I still would have liked something, at least from the Nutcracker, with regards to that.
I felt like it fit because throughout this she's been pretty serious. She hasn't been this like fun kid at all.
Yeah.
Through this.
That's fair. Yeah.
She's definitely a more mature child in that regards, emotion. And we get the Nutcracker saying at one point that she's very confident, like her mom, and all that other attributes that would push the leader type.
Yeah, I don't mind you. I don't think this is a flaw necessarily. It was an observation I just wanted to throw out there because I was curious how you guys felt about it.
Oh yeah.
I think it was fine.
Yeah.
I didn't like the guards. I don't think that was fine. But her taking charge, I think worked.
I agree. What was that I wrote down? When they're in the carousel, why is the main power unit on the carousel? At first, I thought it would only power the carousel itself,
And then it
other
powered
lights
the
would
whole
turn on.
like circus. It was...
So that was weird to me. And then it was functioned by, I guess, fire and fuel, because it said like ignition and fire was going to start the lights, which is fine. But then the rats start breaking the carousel, where one guy falls over unconscious and I guess dies.
Yeah.
But the carousel started being broken apart, and it doesn't turn off the power.
Yeah. I can't explain that away.
Yeah, I can't. Don't got nothing.
I
for you
don't
on
really
that
know
one.
how it's powered, anyways. Let alone.
I
how
mean,
it's
I don't know.
implemented.
If they didn't even show us that, it wouldn't be a problem.
Yeah. It showed
Dude.
one scene of fire using ignition to go.
Fire.
So, like one lever pull. So,
Yeah. During their entry into this little fair area, and that first guy got sucked into the ground, like, all right, that guy just got wanded.
Yes.
Yeah, pretty much.
And then unfortunately, Soldier Wilhelm also got not killed. So another one died. Man, they're just going through the Wilhelms really quick in every movie, man.
It was a pretty dark scene here until she ended up surviving. So, do you think the rest of the guards made it?
I don't think so.
I mean, we don't see them because I'm 100% sure Mother Ginger would have told them that hey, an army of animatrons is coming to kill all of us, including you.
Or, here's your guards back.
Yeah.
Yeah. Do you think Ginger is the type of person to kill them because they're threats, or to keep them because she knows they're misled?
Like I said, I'm inclined to believe she kept them, but the problem is we have no idea what happened to them.
No.
they don't
The
show
only
it.
thing I can think of is that they died is because one soldier definitely died on that carousel.
Yes, yes.
He was
that's-
unconscious and it fell on top of him.
But
Yeah.
can a toy really die? Do these lives really matter?
Well, that's something.
That's something Toy Story will try to answer.
I mean, soldiers
Da-da-da.
pretty much died. So I'm thinking that these ones can.
And
I
there
think
was
if
the
the
one
hard
question
ones
that we never
can,
get answered.
the solid ones can. But anywho, Clara gets picked by this giant Mother Ginger robot that then throws her into a. I thought it was kind of cool that the skirt of this robot was a circus tent.
Kind of gave
Yeah,
me the.
I like the look of this machine.
Kind of gave me weird, like the circus from the Dinosaurs Are Back movie. You know what I'm talking about?
Dinosaurs.
With the Professor
Oh,
Screw.
we're back. Yeah.
Yeah, it's kind of creepy.
Mm-hmm.
It kind of reminded me of Coraline because of the rats.
Yeah, that too. Yeah.
But we get introduced to the clowns or the Russian doll
Holy
clowns,
Chanel.
and this is
the Italian clowns.
I will say rewatching this movie, I had no memory of these clowns.
They're like the most memorable part. There's some
No.
wacky characters.
Maybe.
Yeah. One of them, when they send Clara up, says adios, which
Is Spanish.
I wrote down because so far they've only speaking English and French
Speaking English and French.
in this realm, so I don't know how they got Spanish.
Well, diversity.
Well, no, I understand that. I'm questioning how did they hear that word or come up with that word or
Marie really loved Spanish. She's bilingual. I have no idea.
okay.
No answer on that one.
Because those clowns, they're called Chanel in French, and they're a caricature. They're a whole thing in France or whatever, kind of their own version of clowns.
Mm-hmm.
So I don't know why they'd have Spanish.
I don't know what they do. Spanish.
They're full on French.
French.
It seemed
But
like a
this is probably the
small
best
flaw.
CG though.
Yeah, I'd agree.
Definitely a flaw. But definitely the best CG here for me with all the acrobatics and craziness that they were
Yeah,
doing.
all the movement, yeah, and like perspective and shit. Yeah, it's pretty good.
Yeah, didn't feel horrible. I can agree with that.
She took it very well. If I was, how old is she? She's probably like 12 or something.
Yeah. Probably
Yeah.
11 or
Yeah, if
12.
I was a 12-year-old, I'd be a little panicked here. Yeah, she's taking it pretty
She's
well.
supposed to be 12? That's
I don't know.
crazy. I assumed like 16 or
guess, I don't-
17.
Oh
No.
no, she's not a high schooler. Who else got anything for the clowns?
Yeah,
I
it was
just
cool.
she was in
seeing.
shock most of the time. That's why she kind of just followed with them.
Yeah, I mean, it's probably
That's probably a fair assumption.
yeah.
Just looking it up, just in case, it is listed that she is 14.
14.
A little bit older than I was expecting.
I think that works in the movie's favor.
Yeah, I'd agree.
But then we get introduced to Mother Ginger almost an hour into the movie.
Well, she got introduced.
Oh, in person.
Yeah.
Yeah, we got to see a little bit of her with a pretty menacing shot when we first saw her machine in the woods.
Yeah.
I did like how that looked.
Pretty creepy. Pretty creepy, I must say.
Yeah, I can agree with that.
I do like the makeup on her face. I don't know what they are, if they're cracks or
Battle scars from
Yeah,
Sugar
I
Plum.
don't know why they're there.
Yeah.
They did look like just cracks. They didn't look like scars or anything.
I guess because she's like an old toy or something. I don't know.
that could be
Maybe.
it. She could be a
Cracked
damaged toy.
porcelain doll. Because
That's such a good thought.
Sugar Plum was a porcelain doll, right?
Yeah.
Yeah. Porcelain
Um,
doll. Porcelain doll.
Yeah. And then Nutcracker comes to save Clara. It's like, woo, Nutcracker.
Yeah, it's like woo, Nutcracker.
Well, something. His name's in the movie, and
Yeah,
they
it's Captain
definitely
Phillips.
give him the screen time.
Yeah,
I don't think they give him the character, but they give him the screen time.
Yeah, I would
no
agree with that.
character. Really.
Which would you prefer to be in a movie? Have character or screen time?
Character.
Character.
Definitely character.
There you go. That's the right answer.
If it's a small role, but they're memorable, they're gonna be remembered.
Small mole. I like that. Got the small mole.
I did write it down. This is another nitpick.
Well, come on.
How he got there so fast. Because when she was getting carried away by the rats, they were going fast. And
Oh, true.
he was crawling at a normal person pace, but it would have taken him a while to get there compared to how fast they were going. Nitpick over with.
No, I agree. All I can think of is it did seem the tunnel the rats were taking Clara on was far longer than the carousel to the robot. It seemed like she went on a lot of twists and turns that didn't need to be. It wasn't a straight shot.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Did they ever show where the two are in correlation to each other?
Like on the,
I don't remember.
When Clara's picked up by the fingers, I think you can see the
The
carousel on the
fingers.
back.
Then yeah, I'm inclined to agree. Lots of zigzags.
lots of zigzags, mate.
So Nutcracker saves her,
Brave loyal Nutcracker.
Yeah.
and they have their. It's a nice little cliffside overlooking the waterfalls and everything, and Clara.
First
to know
off,
her
impressive they
priorities.
escaped, but
She's got to open that egg.
I have to open this egg before anything else happens.
Yeah,
I mean,
and-
it is her priority here.
Yeah, I mean that's always been her priority.
I mean, yeah, that's what she came to this whole place to do. She's been here for, I don't know, maybe
a few
a
hours.
day and a half now.
Yeah, she slept.
Yeah.
Yep.
It's been at least a day.
Did anyone have anything to say about Ginger's introduction? We kind of glossed over that.
It was very she's very
got the
menacing in
yeah.
in her
she's very
introduction.
menacing for being as
So
I
someone,
think she should explain faster.
yeah, like I would have been trying to placate because as you can see Clara backing away from her in fear. You know, would that not you as someone who's trying to explain something realize that they're afraid of you? So
Yeah,
like
stop getting closer.
yeah, like you know, there's definitely a level of like she was evil until the script didn't want her to be because she was overdoing it in this scene, and like overplaying the villainous part, especially for when you're not one.
Yeah, it's one of those situations where the whole situation could be solved by one short conversation.
Yeah,
It's a fake problem.
yeah.
yeah.
So I agree that's not great. Ginger's a little dumb.
Yeah.
For that, for sure.
Yeah. Well, she hasn't seen a lot of people recently. It's the clowns
Also-
and the mice. So
Her security sucks.
It's also true. This bunch of clowns running around.
One soldier gets by, but on the bridge, the clowns beat up everybody. They're murking everybody.
Crimson.
Murking
That's a big
everybody.
difference. That's a big difference because the ones here are solid and those are hollow.
So you would go on
So
the-
its weight on both is very off.
Wait. I mean, I would argue giant metal figures would weigh more than a flesh little man.
Got a point.
I don't know why that just are bowling pins hollow. Bowling pins are hollow.
I
They are
don't
not
think they
all
are.
right.
I don't think they are.
Why
Oh,
did
okay.
that pop in your head?
Because them on the bridge was like bowling to me.
Are bowling
bowls,
pins
bowling
hollow?
But you never thought you were gonna search that, huh?
Especially for this movie.
No, bowling pins are not hollow. They're made out of dense wood.
Okay,
Knew it.
the bowling pins could be alive in this movie. So
That's a good
But are they
question.
toys?
Yeah, like that's a good question though. Is like
The
can any
whole Toy Story 4 thing of like, what is a toy?
Don't get me started. Please don't.
Anywho, Clara's disappointed in the egg, and Nutcracker gives her some words of hope to
Oh yeah.
make her feel better. And this was the first like mood swing to me of being like happy, determined, then upset, and then confident and okay. And then it happens again, which to me just is fine because Clara's a kid. But the Nutcracker, for not having much character to him and only saying like a handful of words, can really sway how she feels.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, she sways quite heavily in these two instances. I assume you think of the mirror part later, right?
Yeah.
Yes.
I
hated that part.
Yeah, I heard the so she opens it, music starts playing. I immediately wrote down on my notes and said Kung Fu Panda did it better. as soon as I realized what they were gonna do with that, because I immediately realized, oh, that's gonna turn into a mirror. So I need to write this down now.
Yes, the Kung Fu Panda, way better.
And he was right.
That's a
He
ranking
nailed it.
scroll.
Yeah.
There is no secret ingredient.
Yeah, like you mean like the secret ingredient is you. Like you are it. Like you can do it. That's what the whole point of it is. But the whole story builds to that focal point, whereas this doesn't.
Yeah.
So did Marie know that this place was going to be in disarray for her daughter to fix it?
I'm gonna go with no, because that's the only way that this would happen.
Okay.
Okay.
Because if she didn't know, then that speaks to her being a horrible mother.
I wrote something down a little further on when they get back to the castle and they use the key on the machine to make it work the same. I found it interesting that when Clara uses the key on the egg, she turns it right, and when the sugar plum uses the key, she turns it left, and they both function. That to me just showed the opposites between the two.
Yeah. Like you mean for intentions,
Yeah,
like just an overt symbolism? Yeah, okay.
It was a tell, but a very minor of like good, bad. Just one's right, one's left.
Might be a bit of a reach, but it still checks out.
I was gonna say I'm willing to bet that's just a continuity error, but well, that'd be interesting.
Because I
would be really cool.
First, I was questioning why would Clara turn it right on the egg and then left on the machine? Why would she change it either way? And then I went back and saw that the key was in the sugar plum's hands, who turned it left. So they both just turned it different ways.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, it's I don't know.
Also, we've touched on this whole hollow, not hollow thing a lot. Is there some kind of rule book of like, what if something's this or that, or what if it's got a hollow head and the rest is solid? Like, how do we know what will function? I don't know.
You're already putting more thought in than they did when they wrote this.
Yeah, I mean, look, if you have a machine that can turn a toy alive, would you not want to test like everything imaginable to see what would happen in results?
No, I mean it's literally just for this.
As a scientist, absolutely. But yeah. Well, I mean,
literally something. Someone else.
It's literally just for this scene to show that Sugar Plum's evil and doesn't actually want to defend the kingdom. She wants to destroy the other one.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. And these. Go ahead.
All right, I'll shoot it. So at this point, she brings out that she gave life to them. They only listen to me, and so does that mean that Marie could have literally just told anybody to do anything and they would do it?
No,
like if she's like, guys. "Hey, Sugar Plum, could you eat Flower Guy over there for me, please?"
I mean, she's the queen.
Would they just do it? I mean, even they go against Queen Clara here. So they don't care about the title, obviously. They care about the individual. And in this case, they assign it to the creator role. So would Marie literally just control these people?
You misunderstand. She's not queen. She is mother.
So did she have absolute control over these people to the point where they couldn't go against anything she says?
No,
No?
no, I don't know.
Because that's what happened to these tin dudes.
But they explained it that it was because they had no soul, so they would just do whatever whoever made them tell them to do.
Well, they didn't explicitly say
Well,
because they're hollow, they listen to their creator. That's
Yeah,
not
but
what they said.
so that would have been like Maria said, "Okay, Sugar Plum, as soon as I leave here, you get to be evil and do whatever you want." Kind of like obviously that wasn't what happened either. And because they listened to Clara, so
So what if they put in a stuffed bear and then it's got a soul, but then they shrink it back to a teddy bear, take out all the stuffing and grow it back? Is it soulless now?
you don't want to see that.
I don't know.
You really don't want to see that. I'm sure it's probably
A
disgusting.
soulless teddy bear?
No, I mean like probably just be like, "Oh, hey," or something. Yeah.
I don't know.
My pact forbids me to.
I was going to say earlier that these tin soldiers remind me of Santa Claus 2
Yeah.
toys.
There we
I
go.
wrote that down.
I don't know which one I like more.
Neither.
I
think-
like Santa Claus.
I think I like the Santa Claus ones a little more because those are practical. Those were people in costume.
Yeah.
These are
Yeah.
CGI ones.
Oh, so you're saying one's intrinsically better than the other? How shallow of you.
I'm one who likes classic puppet Yoda over CGI Yoda, okay?
Well, I mean,
Whoa.
do not believe this one, I do.
Yeah. Okay.
So Sugar Plum's evil.
Yeah, Sugar Plum's
Yeah,
evil.
Find out.
Sugar Plum's straight up Bazonka's evil.
Crimson, would you like to sing us again your quotable line?
You've already done it once. You don't have to.
We'll just cut it in here.
Yeah, Spice didn't. Because
Um,
that's a little later when Ginger comes in, anyways. What was I about to say? Yes. So she brought up that the process could be reversed. How did she know that?
Yeah,
I have no idea.
because Maria would have had to do it.
Yeah, Marie would have had to.
Someone
con-
30
Maybe Marie left her like a Lego set of directions, you know, and just,
but not the
Yeah.
key,
but not the key,
or a copy
not
of the
the
key.
or a
Because
copy of
essentially
the
she
key.
murders someone, right?
Oh yeah, she murders her own soldier, pretty much. Yeah.
Yeah.
I'm like, I at that point, I'm looking at the soldiers still carrying the tin like men up there. I'm like, you guys aren't having second thoughts now? Or-
This
Well,
part
and
had
then-
so many problems.
Yeah.
Oh my god.
Because these guards are still supposed to listen to their queen, which
Yeah.
is right now still Clara.
Yeah.
And right now there's only a handful of tin soldiers.
Yeah, there is
that are alive.
6 of them. There is 6, and there are at least a dozen of you. I think you guys can do this.
Yeah. So
Not to mention, she just
Very
ordered the
easy
death of your
crisis to
friend,
avert here.
your comrade here. It's
But they're scared. They're scared.
Scary.
just scary.
Scaredy
Yeah.
cats.
They have been established to be pathetic. That is true.
that is true. Yeah.
I wrote this in my notes for this first scene, and then it was shown later, which was even more baffling to me. I was curious, do they have dungeons?
Well, yeah,
Because
they
they
do.
locked Nutcracker and Clara up in a tower.
It's not a
They
castle
do
if
have a
you don't
dungeons because
dungeon.
they put all the soldiers in the dungeon.
Yeah, I realized that later, and then I went, why didn't they put them in the dungeon?
I went, like, why are you keeping them alive? I took it a step further. It's like, they're literally the only people on this planet who can stop you. Why are they still alive?
I mean, this is a happy land, okay? There's no death here. We
She
never
just
see
murdered-
anyone die.
Only the 15 soldiers
No,
that
she-
died in the field or whatever.
She put him in a coma, okay? She can take him out of that coma whenever she wants.
She put them in hypersleep.
Yeah, he's not dead. But we
He's not dead.
never see anyone die here.
Oh god!
We don't know about
Imagine
the guys that got taken
imagine
by the
how,
rats,
imagine
but-
how much worse this scene would be if there's that one line of dialogue. Oh yeah, we didn't actually kill them. They're just stuck in a state where they're conscious of everything around them.
No, it's the. That's even worse. Hell,
What
what
did that-
dead?
Yeah, I'm like, it kind of reminds me of the beginning when we first see the Nutcracker. He's just in a frozen state until he gets interacted with.
I read that as he said he's never left his post, so he just stays there and doesn't do anything. So snow just accumulates. That's how I read that.
Well, you read it wrong then.
Because we've already established time has passed, so it's really not him just waiting there. It's frozen in time. There's time passing by as he stands there. Closing his eyes, so not being a very good guard in that regards.
Yeah, you don't want to have closed eyes if you're a guard.
Yeah. Also, we've seen that the Sugar Plum Fairy has her sweet, or people from the land of sweets or whatever.
Mm-hmm.
So when she's now fully in charge of making tin soldiers, why don't they come in? They're still not around.
Yeah, she probably turned them into toys or something.
Yeah,
she's
they're not
crazy
strong.
now.
Yeah.
I mean, I doubt her people want tyrannical reign, right?
In theory,
Probably not.
no one
This is
chooses
the
to
actions
be
of an
living
individual.
under. Yeah. No one wants
not a
to live under a
group.
dictator, but you know, circumstances here for your life will determine that for you.
Why does she want control?
Because she
So
doesn't want to
that
be
nobody
alone
can be
ever
hurt again.
again. I'm sure.
Yeah.
It's because Mary left her alone, right? Was that the motivation?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's it. That equals control of the lands.
Yeah.
I mean, people have done worse stuff for less of a reason. Yeah, I mean, yeah.
Let's jump ahead to, unless someone else has something else in between, but jump ahead
No.
to the part where Clara tests her physics with the rope.
Well, yeah, I will talk about the mirror part that happens before that. 180 flip. I've never seen such a 180 in a character ever before.
It's pretty fucking fast.
It was quite insane. She was all depressed and sad and felt guilty that she helped Plum with the machine. And then she looks in the mirror like, oh, I just need to believe in myself and now I can fix everything. All right, let's go, people. I'm like, oh, okay.
I will once again reiterate,
nice.
Kung Fu Panda did it better. Just
Way better. Yeah, I didn't like that. And the regents were stupid, but that's par for the course.
Let's see.
Gotcha.
Scrolling through my notes here really quickly.
Yeah,
I do have.
this ending is really convoluted. This last act is really convoluted.
Yeah, I'm like, well, one act is you could just destroy the bridge. That way the tin soldiers can't get across. You know.
But then you couldn't ever get back.
That's true. Let's see.
She could make flying toys that would eventually. Conquer.
Yeah, eventually.
If she had any.
Yeah, no,
I mean,
pretty
they
much.
got stupid wound out mice for some reason. I'm sure they got flying monkeys.
Yeah, I don't know where the growth of Clara's character is in this film because, like, I know that I'm gonna agree with you, Crimson, that like it's a very 180 flip, and I'm like I don't know what the character arc was to get here.
Yeah, I don't know what it is.
I don't know what it is.
She literally looked at herself in the mirror and changed as an individual.
Yeah, pretty much. Yeah. Don't get me wrong, good acting, but still makes no fucking sense. Unless we have anything more to say to kind of go to your scenes, Sprinks, with the whole physics. I actually really liked the physics joke. It was very contextual. She's like, yeah, this is how physics works. And then you could kind of see it in her eyes. She realizes she's in a different world most of the time.
Yeah.
Something like that.
So like it could not
as
work.
far as I know.
Yeah. As far as I know.
Well, also the time period they're in, there's still a lot not known to science. So there's also that gray area of whether it could work or not.
Yeah, I do like the contextual joke. That was, for me, I think that was also might be the second funniest part of the movie.
I think, to me, the physics of it work, but when she gets to the bottom, she doesn't weigh nothing, so I think it would have definitely tugged at her shoulders and harmed her.
Oh, yeah, sorry. I don't think they did the physics accurately. I do think the joke was fine, though.
I'm like, the rope going around and stopping seems logical and works for me. But when she gets to the bottom and stops, it wouldn't be so gentle as they showed
She'd
it.
have the weight of herself pulling down on her, plus the distance between the roof and the floor.
Yeah, honestly,
multiplying
it would have been better if they just climbed out the window on the rope. Also, very lucky
They'd
that
have
there's
to
no
measure the
rope
rope.
here.
Yeah, it'd have to be the exact length required as well. But I like it conceptually.
Yeah, there's workable ability with that. There's workability with that. It's just,
If only they
nitpick.
hired a physicist for this scene.
If only they'd hired a physicist.
If only they
who
hired a
could've
competent
done a
writer.
physical. Whoa.
Well, that's
I
what
don't
writer
expect
says a
all
lot.
writers to know physics, okay? Even though they kind of should know a base knowledge of it.
So they escape through the sewers,
Yes.
So then they become the
Yeah,
Teenage Ninja
storm
Turtles.
drain.
and on our first time viewing, you don't really know what Clara's idea of what she's doing is, because she's just going down the side of a rocky mountain by the waterfalls.
I mean,
Yeah.
that's like the same thought I've had with this whole movie. I don't really know what her
true.
plans are. I mean,
Well, earlier to me, her plans was just get the key. But another thing, which is just Disney magic to me, is she told Philip it's an order to go get Mother Ginger or protect her or something, and said go. And earlier so far, Philip to an order is like, okay, I'm on it. If Philip turned around for like a split second, Clara would be dead because she slipped.
Yep. We're lucky he cares about her.
Hesitated. Yeah.
Well, also, why did Philip have to go? Because she said he had to go warn her, right?
Yeah.
So Mouse Rinks can speak to
Mother Ginger.
And Mouse
She
Rinks,
understands
Mouse Rinks clearly understands Clara as well. Like Clara understands Mouse Rinks to a degree. So Soldier is the only one that doesn't.
So she literally just could have sent the mouse to tell and warn everything, and kept her Nutcracker.
But no, she
But we
wanted
needed
to
some
do this
cool
solo.
action scenes in the forest. Cool in air quotes, because I'm sure they tried to make it
More like
right.
50 sets of quotation marks just to really sell that one.
So I just think it was a bit crazy that Clara's idea to get to the engine room was to go through the sewers, down a rock cliff side, get to the bottom of the what are they called? Water wheels?
Water wheels, yeah.
no,
To then pull herself up into the engine room.
And
I'm fine with that entrance.
The thing is, I think this should have been set up a little earlier, but I am fine with it in concept. Because you need something to power your house, your workhouse, your workstation. So
your toy laser.
Your toy laser.
So she's been in the engine room multiple times, so she knows that's where the wheels are. She can see them.
Yeah.
Well, multiple times, meaning like twice.
Yeah.
But getting her from the sewers to get down there, to me, is all new terrain for her.
Yeah. Well, no,
she
Mouse
followed
Rinks,
the mouse.
Mouse Rinks is one that led her, though. So that's
so the mouse is smarter than her. That's all I get out of this.
I mean, he's
It
older.
was his plan.
The mouse just knows the terrain. So
I mean, he led her to the wheel, and the wheel wasn't her idea. So it was really his idea to get her in.
Some damn fine logic you got there.
Yeah. Smart mouse. Saved the day, really.
Should here in this picture, yeah.
Yeah, should be Mouse in the Four Realms. Mouse Rinks.
Oh, spin off, dude, spin off.
No, thank you.
Yes. You have to now. Do it.
So Philip informs Mother Ginger, and they come up with the plan with the clowns.
Doesn't really inform her, really. Just
Oh,
sees
like
him and he's
Space
like,
Rings.
So there's an
"Wow."
army coming.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Sugar Plum sends the army off and is looking through a fucking periscope. Periscope?
Yeah.
Something. Yeah.
A
It's a
scope.
periscope.
A scope.
Let's go.
Spyglass. It's a spyglass. We're gonna call it that.
And this is where we see that Sugar Plum can fly again. And this time with a little more speed. We can see how she traverses rather than just being excited and, going up a little. She actually flies out kind of to the bridge to show the speed.
The
Mhm.
speed at which your wings can
I'm
fly.
excited to get the payoff of this foreshadowing.
Yeah.
It's gonna be great.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Still, visually does not look good. Just
Yeah.
flying.
No, it does not.
Quite bad.
No,
She
it's
doesn't really
green
fly.
screen.
She just kind of floats, but like really fast.
Yeah. Let's see. Did I have any problems with Philip going to Ginger?
Yeah. Did you have any problems with Philip going to Ginger?
I have no idea how he got there so fast without his horse.
The horse was there. He just didn't see it. It was like in the
Well, he would
background.
probably had to take. He would have had to take a long way around, going through a different realm to get there. Otherwise, he would have had to go across the same bridge the Tin Soldiers were on.
You know what? Mouse Rinks got all of his mice pals to drag him in like a slide,
Oh, that would be horrifying.
and they just went away, so it looked like he walked up to them confidently.
That would be utterly terrifying.
There we go. Problem solved.
Yeah.
Problem solved. Wipe your hands off, gentlemen. We're done here. Boom.
I'm a professional rider now.
Yeah. Can't wait to see your book.
Yeah. Woo!
So Tin Soldiers are marching out.
Oh, there's a movie going on here. I forgot.
Yeah, I don't know what the clowns. I guess the clowns were able to knock down enough to get into the castle, but
Yeah.
I guess. Yeah.
they were still trudging on to go get Mother Ginger or her robot. So they started attacking that and climbing it while Clara's trying to distract the Tin Soldiers that are in the engine room.
Through a bit of clever ingenuity, though it just highlights how dumb the Tin Soldiers are.
Yeah, they're hollow. Did we cover that they're hollow?
They're
Yes.
hollow.
Because we're just going with what Sugar Plum wants to do. So at least Sugar Plum is around at the robot. She's flying around.
Sugar Plum Fairy came and hit the streets, looking for soul food and a place to eat.
I don't know how true that is, but
I mean, you keep saying it.
it's a lot of back and forth for the quote unquote action sequence.
Yeah, this battle's pretty bad.
Both sides.
This battle is
Both
heated.
sides, yeah. So I guess I have a question to pose to all of you. Who is
Go
more
on.
effective, the First Order or the Tin Soldier Army?
Oh boy.
I'm not going to answer
Is
that
there
question.
any
'cause it's gonna
specific
create a
fight
burn
you're
war.
referencing?
No, just competency of their main military. So the average stormtrooper Joes that you see in the First Order.
I think Tin Soldier wins.
Why and how?
Tin Soldiers were actually able to hit things with their swords and actually damage people.
You know
See, I
what?
was going to say the inverse for First Order, because they do kill people with every 1 million bullets they have to fire, lasers. The soldiers didn't achieve anything except tearing down the
Remember, the
robot.
Tin
That's true.
Tin Soldiers have 2 targets. So
Also, if Kylo Ren was leading the Tin Soldiers, they'd win. Heartbeat.
oh yeah, easy. Discount John Boy would be able to stop him.
Discount John Boy.
So Ginger Snap used one of the clowns to get into the castle, and
Yeah.
she's dizzy for a second.
Yeah.
Then she takes out her whip and she's just fighting him.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So I guess she's used to it.
Yeah. Maybe.
I don't know
also,
why these peaceful people would fight so well.
Yeah. Also,
Especially
I
Claire.
mean,
yeah, also, I just want to say the clowns that are with Mother Ginger in this warehouse, they're going to be really useful for the fight. Just saying. We saw them knock a bunch of Tin Soldiers down as bowling pins. They're clearly going to play a big role because they're desperately needed in this fight because they're outnumbered.
Oh yeah,
Yeah, they're totally
definitely
gonna be
wouldn't
there.
abandon their leader to
Yeah.
die.
of course. No, they got
No
tired.
way.
They got sleepy. They had to go and regroup and have some Mama's famous rigatoni lasagna or something. I don't know.
Who knows?
The tin soldiers were so. It was irritating me how incompetent they were when they were fighting Clara.
They have no brains.
Yeah.
Their job is to be
True.
soldiers, though. They got to have a base knowledge of being a soldier.
How many of your toys have a
All
base
motors.
knowledge of being whatever they're supposed to be?
Buzz knew how to use a suit, even though the stuff wasn't real. Right?
Oh, that's such an easy out.
Yeah.
Just use Toy Story for every argument.
Yeah.
Fine.
Okay.
Well, okay,
I don't really know another
No,
living toy
we don't know about
that
that
I've seen.
Crimson because obviously he never tried to go invisible. So clearly,
Oh, that's right. That's right.
What have you done? Can't believe you've done this.
8 out of 10. So we have the fights going on, and
It's
Philip
kicking off,
is
man.
he's the only one, because he's the only one that's really escaped against a whole army of tin soldiers in the woods until Mouse Sinks or the Mouse King shows up to help him, which gives him his boost of confidence of, yeah, we can win this, like in Avatar when it's like,
I don't know
the
if it
god or
was.
whatever hurt them.
I don't know if it was that level. It's like, all right, we can survive a little longer. I don't know if it was that level of confidence boosting.
No, he was backing up the whole time until we saw the Mouse King. And he goes, yeah, and then he starts swinging and starts taking on all the soldiers.
It was pretty fast.
Also, the Mouse King didn't really attack anyone. He's just walking through them,
Yeah,
which
he was
is
causing
making them,
distractions.
Well, I mean,
which is making them hit each other. Which is what Ryder you brought up earlier, how one stabs one and like feels embarrassed and of the acts he's done, which showed to me that these tin soldiers have slight feelings.
yeah,
I don't know if they can feel pain, but
That
they
would
can
imply
feel
soul.
emotions.
I know that implies soul. So as funny as that joke is, it just breaks even more of the movie.
I don't know. I like it. Is this because like, oh man, hope nobody saw that.
Yeah, like I said, I love the joke. That one is one of two things that made me smirk / laugh in this film.
I agree.
But it does break a little things.
It's just breaking little things.
Yeah, they could have done a lot of cool stuff with the Rat King. Because, if only they could suck people underground and get them out of the.
Get them out of the way.
Situation.
Yeah, but
remove
you have
them.
to have a fight going on that's like stakes. And if you just have somebody who can just end the fight really quickly.
Well, I
It's
mean,
not
like
very-
I mean, there is only one mouse rings. Like he had to do them one at a time, pretty much. Even in the preceding fight, like it was one soldier at a time for the most part. It happened fast, but he could only do it one at a time. So there could be something where
it's
there.
faster than what he was doing as a giant rat.
Yes,
Got a point.
I agree with that. So like you can keep that as an ability, and there just be so many of them that he can't do it fast enough.
Exactly. That would be a great thing to build tension, where they just still slowly creep up on Nutcracker while
Yeah, like-
Rat King's trying to keep up.
Like
with
like
the
the
army.
Nutcracker, like the Nutcracker can be fighting because he's. We can assume he's a really good swordsman. So he could probably fight 2 or 3 of them at once. And then you could see like the odd one that's trying to get around behind him being shrunk down into a hole because they have to be very, very picky and particular how they're doing this. So he's just keeping the Nutcracker's back free so he can keep backing away because they obviously have to keep giving ground because they're outnumbered. So there is definitely an avenue where you can keep that ability and still add a lot of tension to this fight. Problem is they didn't do that.
Yeah.
Like,
But
this
they
was a
could have also
conversation
knocked
they had
over
when they first moved.
trees onto the tin soldiers.
Mm-hmm.
There's a lot they could have done with this environment.
Yeah.
Didn't
No.
realize any of it.
No. Nope. They did everything they could have done.
Like I do like this slight camaraderie between on a surface level because I don't think it was built up in the film at all. I do like the camaraderie between Soldier Boy and Mouse Rinks in this.
Soldier Boy.
Listen, whenever I forget to call him the Nutcracker, I just
I like
default to
it, I
Soldier
like
Boy.
it. I like it.
When Soldier Boy and
Jensen Ackles.
yeah, I do like their camaraderie in this scene, even though there's like nothing to support it. It did make me smirk.
They told their whole life story on the way to warn Ginger.
Well, he wouldn't be able to
You just
understand
didn't see
it.
it.
Yeah, it
doesn't
was so
speak
awesome.
rodent.
I wish you could have seen it. It's so awesome.
So I mean, he could have told Mouse Rings his life story. But
No, Because Mouserinks would have ordered all of his rats to form words on the ground while they're walking.
Oh, like so,
Word
like
on the
they do
ground.
like a puppet show, kind of, just a bunch of rats form different shapes, tell their life story.
Yeah.
Yeah.
What a creative
Talking
idea!
about how Mouserinks got his brains because he's unique.
Yeah.
Like, what's the origin of Mouserinks? We don't know.
Yeah.
It all happened during that walk that we didn't get to see.
You're like,
Really unfortunate.
I'm like half joking, but that would have actually made a more fun, creative part of the movie.
Oh yeah. Well, I mean, plus, I mean, they're the only the mice are like the only technically living things. Everything toy or was
Well,
a toy.
actually, are the rats just wound up toys, but Mouserinks is a solid rat toy?
How do we know the wound up toys aren't solid?
Because they're hollow.
Okay, we've done this 5 times now. I'm done with the solid versus
But we
the hollow
played different
talk.
versions.
Look, we keep going back and forth, Sinister, on it because the movie keeps going back and forth on it.
Yeah, because the movie's not very good.
Yeah.
The movie doesn't know what it wants to do.
So to continue in the story, first, I guess to jump slightly, Sugar Plum Fairy, after discovering that the robot was just a Nutcracker, heads straight back to the engine room and gets there unnoticed by Clara or Mother Ginger, because she just grabs her whip in the air and it's flying.
Yep.
Mother Ginger gets wrapped up and is going to be destroyed pretty much or turned back into a toy. And the engine or power of the machine is a figure 8 power magnetic thing. I don't know how else to describe it. It's like 2 gears that are going in figure 8s with this little chess piece. And Clara adds one to change its function.
She
I'm
messes
just
with
waiting for you
it.
to
I don't
say
know what
something.
goes.
Yeah, that I can.
I might just be too dumb, or the thing was just nothing. No, I don't know how that functions at all. That it continually keeps moving.
I'm gonna be honest. It wasn't on it long enough for me to even pay attention to whether that would work or not.
I literally have no idea how this machine.
Okay, to me, that part of it made it more confusing to me because it wasn't just like a simple button to change back and forth. If it's constantly moving functions of what it's doing in that figure 8 pattern.
Yeah. I mean, all she ended up doing was allowing it to move up and aim at the console.
She basically did it like so it was like autopiloted itself to that direction.
That's what she did, but I don't think the visual sells. That's what she did.
No, but like I don't know why that. Yeah, I don't like that's the problem. I don't know why that worked.
So she could have somehow hooked it up to where when the machine is activated, it moves and then fires instead of just fires.
Why would you have that be on the outside of the machine? Why would you have the machine be able to be changed or altered by somebody outside?
I mean, any machine can be changed. Right?
I know, but why would you have it be like an obvious part of the machine?
I don't know. I'm trying. I can't solve everything for the writers.
I know.
A French kid made it.
French kid made it. No, I'm just saying, like, obviously any machine can be changed, but why would you have something that changes the direction of the machine that isn't the directional, control of the machine?
Yeah, I don't know. It obviously wasn't the intended function, so whatever she did changed the original plan.
I think this was all set up to be
because it should have been stational no matter what. So it's weird that it could even move in the first place because it's supposed to focus on that plate that the toys get placed on. Mm-hmm. Doesn't make sense, but nothing else here does.
And we'll get to that.
So Clara makes the machine change, and Philip's being backed up in the corner by a one-armed Nutcracker.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. Clara's also caught. They caught her, or she lets herself get caught.
She intentionally gets caught.
Yeah.
And then she gets to because we have to have the hero appeal to their humanity, right?
Yes.
Have you ever thought about not being a bad person?
and the machine goes through, and because of what Clara did by adding one piece to the figure 8 puzzle, it aims higher to shoot at the Sugar Plum Fairy.
A good
Who-
thing it moved really quick and shot fast,
Yeah.
right?
Unfortunately, as Crimson, it went real fast. Its rate of fire was very fast.
Look, it's going into
with-
phase. It's going to be going to a phase
Yeah.
montage. No scope. It no scopes the bitch.
Its range is not necessarily pinpoint, but it's not as big as some would think. Unfortunately, we haven't seen if the Sugar Plum can fly or not. I think she's also unable to walk at some points of the movie.
Yeah. And she's unable to pull out the key just to turn it off. That's
She can't pull out the key; it's locked in place. The railing next to her is too high to jump over. There's just so many reasons why she got hit by that beam.
Yeah. Nothing they could do. It's just the writers did a really good job setting this up. Like she was trapped. Honestly.
Would that be writers or the visual effects? 'Cause that could have been fixed in post, right? It could have moved quick and shot fast.
That's fair. They could have done that. Could have just stood up there and go, "You are the weakest link," and just
Yeah, because the writers probably just said the laser moves and shoots her. So the editors or whatever the visual
Could have
effects
been the
artists
director. Could have been the editor.
decided to do it slowly.
I mean, I
So
think
I'm
the
not going to blame the
directors.
writers for
The
that.
director's approach could have been like, try to make it look like you're escaping, because she could have like screamed and turned, or maybe her wings popped up and she got maybe half a foot off the ground, something to indicate she was moving other than just screaming at it.
Yeah, something.
Re at the dragon.
So she turns into a doll, and because of that, the tin soldiers don't have anyone to give them orders, so they just die.
They got Jatari'd.
Yep.
Yeah.
Yeah, that they did.
I always go back to the Phantom Menace. Like, see, Phantom Menace actually sets this up. Like, they have a control ship and their droids, and they need a relay station. So that makes sense in a way, but this doesn't.
No. And that's
So
the
when
one.
Marie died, shouldn't the whole world have died with her?
If it was born from her imagination, I would say yes.
Well,
There we go.
Sinister doesn't like this, as he's already stated, but it's because that the people in this that Marie has created are solid. If they were hollow people, yes.
There you go.
Oh yes, because souls.
We'll move on
Marie
from that.
if Marie died and any, you know what? Here's the reason behind the rats are solid, because if Marie died and they were hollow, there would be no rats. They'd all just be
different than
they'd be lifeless
what are they doing for the Rat King?
because they're solid.
We'll move on. We'll move on. There's more to cover here.
Yeah.
Probably.
So
In theory.
she turns into a porcelain doll, falls over, and I think that this comes up where I think might be my favorite joke in the movie is where Clara says, like, "Unhand me" to the tin soldiers, and they just fall over.
Unhand me.
I
They
thought
have
that
to
was
listen.
pretty
I missed that one. Yeah. I was just so in love with what I was watching on screen. The joke went right over my head.
There you go. That's that's what happens.
So enthralled.
And then we get a shot of the whole castle with the owl.
Yes.
It's like, woo, they did it.
Well,
This also shows the front entrance of the castle here.
first
Earlier, I
Clara,
brought it up because I didn't know at that point in the movie.
first Clara hugs Mother Ginger because they have a very, very deep and meaningful relationship. And then
Yeah,
then we
They
cut.
had a whole 2 minutes of screen time together. It's pretty emotional.
And then we transition
It
to
works.
the owl thing. Yeah.
Yeah, the
Yeah.
kingdom's all fixed up now.
Yeah,
It's all
they don't-
happy.
Yeah, they don't need anything.
I'm
now.
sure the amusement realm is going to be all colorful now because things are happy.
Well, I mean,
When you say that.
Mother Ginger, she got a new hairdo. Looked worse than her.
Well, she's part of the
original-
council now.
Yeah, again.
I know she was originally. Did they steal her clothes when they kicked her out?
Well, yeah, it's like a Cinderella thing. Like, I've seen that before. That's mine.
And then Claire's got to go home, so they say goodbye, somewhat, and we see the two funny soldiers again.
Hilarious.
They're in the freaking spot that the Philip guy used to be in.
You've really gained weight. That's a funny joke because he's the fat one.
Yeah. Thus we learn how pointless these two characters are.
Yeah.
If you weren't sure about it before, this is just a confirmation.
And Claire says bye to Nutcracker. Maybe you could join me sometime. Come to my world. And he goes, I'm not really sure about that. And she leaves.
They decided they weren't gonna look into that.
They were
part.
sequel baiting us.
Yeah.
That's what was going to happen.
So Claire's back at the party, and hey, Morgan Freeman's back. Hey,
He's like,
he's in
"Oh,
this
did you
movie.
find your gift?
Character.
Yeah, did you find your gift? Oh boy, look at this key. Yeah.
Pretty much, yes, accurate.
She goes sees her dad, and her dad's like, "I'm sorry."
I'm gonna roll this back just a little bit to the Nutcracker
go.
and Clara.
Go for it.
I'm kind of happy that they didn't kiss at the end. I was gonna roll my fucking eyes.
Oh God, I would have shut it off.
I mean, like, clearly,
Clearly.
the movie was trying to build like a relationship between them, and I'm like, they better not. And I was really happy that they didn't.
I didn't think romantic.
Okay.
I didn't get
Was there-
romantic relationship
No.
at all out of that.
Yeah. Well, I
Like
mean,
a hug would've been-
Nutcracker, it's your
That would have
boyfriend.
been appropriate.
yeah,
Weird.
yeah. I'm kind of happy they didn't like go that direction. At least yet.
Well,
They might be
listen.
when we
every
get the infamous
girl-
sequel. You know,
Every girl needs a boy toy.
Ah, that's the theme of this movie, huh?
Yeah.
See, I don't really get themes, so
Yeah,
Just get
pirate themes.
references and
yeah. This was Christmas themed, right?
Was it? It never took place on Christmas. It was Christmas.
There
Eve
were
themed.
Christmas trees.
Yeah. So the dad, as you said, Sinister. Yeah, I almost forgot about the dad.
He's just
the
been
only
kind of
the only
a depressed
reminder
guy.
of the dad that we have is just the time dilation scene. And we were so distracted by how horrible the world building is. Is that
Ago. So in the
yeah.
movie.
Yeah, she said he
Um,
looked lost.
Yeah.
He
Also,
no.
so Claire's had a good 2 days to think this all over. Sure,
Mhm.
she's been occupied with other things, but she's had 2 days to kind of think about how she treated her dad. Her dad's had 2 minutes.
It's been longer than that.
It's been at least a couple hours. I think that him just sitting in silence there is more than enough to he's just contemplating everything Clara told him.
I don't want him to have been sitting in silence there for like 3 hours. That's really depressing.
Yeah.
I don't think it was just sitting. I think it was sitting in a
That-
chair. Then he got up, and then he sat back down.
Well,
Then
he
he
obviously
danced with his other daughter.
Sinister. He obviously had to refill his drink because he was feeling really bad that night.
He went outside and stood in the gazebo by himself.
His son told him after he tried his hardest to make him a good Christmas. That's not how Mom did it. After his wife has been dead.
Yeah.
And then his daughter's like, "You just don't care at all.
You only care about yourself."
Yeah, his son wanted to know who he was going to dance with. Come on, Dad, dance with your son.
Yeah,
Could've
Dad,
happened.
no one's gonna call you gay, and even if they do, it's the 1900s, so it just means happy."
That's true.
That'd be weird. And someone gay because it's a father and son dancing.
Okay, well, it's not. Yeah, that's a different thing, but wasn't what I was going for there.
Well, then they have a nice little dance, and then the siblings show up.
We have a nice thing. Yeah, the
I guess they were looking for them. I don't know.
something
Convenient.
Big house.
big house.
Well, they heard the song.
bear.
Wow, that was the song Mom liked.
Yeah.
Maybe Dad and sister are gonna start dancing.
Oh, you know
soon.
what? Maybe Clara's mom loved them all equally because they knew the song and she didn't. She just forgot to mention it to her.
Maybe she actually got the wrong gift. It was actually meant for like Fritz.
Yeah, that was
or-
meant for Fritz.
It's supposed to go to the oldest daughter.
And she was supposed to get she was supposed to get the Nutcracker soldiers. Like, what the hell am I supposed to do with this?
That would explain the discrepancy that Sprinks brought up in the beginning.
Well, maybe it
That
wasn't.
the brother got the
Maybe
Nutcracker?
it was an on-set mistake, and they just rolled with it.
Or just
I
like,
mean, I don't think any of the gifts had names on it. It was just 3 unmarked gifts.
the egg
Gave
had a letter to Clara, so
Yeah.
It did.
Well, for the
That's true.
key, that's true. Yeah. And after the dance, the credits roll.
And we go and we return to the
Al
ballet.
watching over everything
and
again.
it says, "Don't worry, the Nutcracker will return."
Oh, I don't remember that
in,
part.
in
I
Avenger,
don't
in
think
the
I-
next Avenger.
Yeah.
But I know most times we just say the credits roll and that's the end of the movie. Does anyone have anything to say about the credits?
It was a much better ballet.
Oh, I was supposed to
I
watch
still
the credits?
I still turned it off. I don't
I
I don't really care about watching dances. So.
Yeah, I actually watched the ballet. I'm like, you know what, this is okay. I enjoyed this better because it wasn't interrupted.
I found it interesting. It's definitely, ballet and the dance and art, but what was the name of the male ballerina? The dancer?
Yeah, dance. Yeah.
Dancer? He was shirtless and it was snowing. And I couldn't tell if it's a very artistic choice, but it looked off to me.
Yeah, I can agree with that.
Okay.
Costume choice was just a little odd for that one.
I mean,
Because to be
I
fair,
thought
on
the
a lot of ballet, the principal male dancer always has very, very low like V-neck kind of, so you can see a bit of his chest. So it's I just agree with that.
And then it goes into, I don't even know what to call it, freeform dancing?
Does it?
I don't.
Well, I don't know what it was. It's not. There's 2 of them, and then they look over, and there's a third dancer, who's kind of in the way of like spotlights from the Adam West Batman movie, of doing these weird dances that to me are not ballet.
That's fair.
Okay. I'll take your word for it. I'm not a ballet expert.
And that's where I am, because then the title pops up with a little firework.
Yeah, it's such a what a wonderful movie.
I'll bring up 2 quotes that came up towards the end that we kind of passed on that I have thoughts on. With Clara and the Nutcracker, she said, "If you miss someone, that means you remember them." I like it, even though it's quite simple, low-hanging fruit writing-wise, but I liked it. And then with Godfather, and he's like, "Your mother's greatest creation was you." I'm like, "Oh, how cliche!"
And I immediately went, Mom definitely doesn't have
God.
favorites in her kids. Just reinforces.
Want to puke.
yeah.
Greatest creation was you. Oh, that's adorable.
So, see, okay, you can get away with this in your script. Iron Man 2 does it fairly well. So, because Iron Man has the whole, like, dad saying, my greatest creation, no matter what, was you, Tony.
Yeah.
Which, like, see, the script earns that, whereas this one just doesn't.
He only had 1 kid.
Yeah, so,
this is 3. Yeah.
that also helps.
This is further proof that the mother only cared about her.
Yes.
The one that was most like me was my favorite. The ones that weren't, who cares?
Fritz is a little shit, and Luis isn't even a character.
That's why I named him Fritz, because it sounded like shits. There you
I
go.
think I'm good.
Yeah, I'm good.
I didn't.
All right.
Yeah, the ending of this. Yeah.
Okay, Nutcracker of the 4 Realms. So I guess we'll go into our ending summaries and ratings, and let's begin with you know what? Let's go with Sinister.
But I did the
Yes.
drum roll. Yeah. So I. Yeah. So, having not really an interest in this when it came out originally, I was a little. I grudgingly said, "Okay, well, I guess I get to watch this now." And yeah, this was definitely something that I didn't need taking up space in my brain.
Too much memory damage. Yeah.
Yeah. There is just because gotta give them something. There is some potential in here because there are some things they actually execute well. Like I think there's some good emotional moments in this. There's some decent characters that have potential in this that unfortunately get underused or just kind of used
Squandered.
for a cheap joke, or or just aren't executed well. But there is like solid potential in this, and I like the visuals and the overall kind of aesthetic. That's all the good stuff. The bad stuff is that it's not executed well for most of it. The main part of the story doesn't really make any sense. They really don't. And I mean, not to say like, oh, well, every story has to, you have to explain everything. It's like, no, you don't have to do that, but you have to at least have it make some sort of sense character-wise or story-wise, so that because the whole main part of this movie, which is the realm or the overall realm of this, makes no sense. They didn't know if they wanted it to be like steampunky, if they wanted it to be magical, so they just did both, and it just doesn't work very well.
Mm-hmm.
I think the overall character development is really lacking, even though there are some characters in here that could use it and could do well with it. And the really good actors in this, I think, are underutilized. Like, really, no no Morgan Freeman. Helen Mirren is not used at all well, and she's like one of probably the better characters in this, even from like just like the 5 minutes she's on screen.
Mm-hmm.
I guess I'll give one more good thing. I think the actress who played Clara does a good job for the most part. I think most of the problems in this are just from how they wrote her character, and not really her not doing a good job. And also the Nutcracker, I think he could have done with more like presence in this, because I think he also did a fairly good job. But with all that entailed, I don't feel totally right giving it this, but I don't think it's fair to go any lower. I'm gonna give it a 3.
All right, right at the Jurassic World Dominion levels for you.
Yeah.
Not bad.
And with that, let's pop it on over to Ryder.
All right. I'll give my subjective first. I had some fun with this movie. I think it was a lot of it was just squandering like potential, because it was a fun world just to be in. The problem is I found all the characters very one note, because I'm kind of in agreement with Sinister. Is there are characters here, but it's only in like scenes in isolation that show the potential of the characters. Otherwise, it's there's really not much for me to latch onto in terms of who I should care about. So subjectively, this is probably gonna be a 4. No, I'm gonna go 4.5 subjectively for this one. It was not the worst movie in the world for me. I definitely have no plans on ever watching it again. Objectively, I think, I mean, what's there to say other than just the world building was extremely lacking. It was inconsistent from beginning to end. As you can see through the podcast, we just kind of went back and forth over that a lot. There was a lot of horrible CGI, which is fine if the story can pull it through, but the story does not pull it through in this case. There's a lot of potential here. Like, there's clearly a lot of stuff they wanted to do. They want to build up a relationship between Nutcracker and Clara, which they establish a decent friendship, but I don't think there's enough between them to even formulate that, other than they just spend time with each other. I think there is I think a lot of the other characters are wasted. World building is bad. The plot also kind of falls through on like trying to deliver messages. I'm not joking when I say Kung Fu Panda does the whole like "you are all that you need" much better. Like with the whole Dragon Scroll reveal, because there is an avenue of where this could have worked in the film if Clara was more filled with more self-doubt, but for the most part she is just a confident character through the movie until the script doesn't want her to be. So there's a lot of missed opportunities like that, and their payoffs therefore don't feel very well earned. I'm also objectively going to be giving this a 3.
All right, Crimson.
Mm-hmm.
All right. Well, right here we are once again on similar wavelengths. I'll start on my subjective. This was a very interesting movie to me because who needs meditation or deprivation tanks? This just puts you in your mind and you wake up after the movie and did I just lose 2 hours of my life?
Fair enough.
It wasn't necessarily boring, but it wasn't engaging either. It wasn't so bad where I'm like, oh my god, this is miserable, I can't stand this. But it was obviously not good. It kind of exists in this weird state where it doesn't really exist at the same time. Not very engaging. The characters, I barely count as characters. Kind of like Ryder said, there's moments where there's character moments, but outside those moments, there is no character.
Yeah, scenes in isolation.
So that's not very good. I did like the aesthetic of the world. What little we did see, it would have been nice to see the other realms more prevalently.
Mm-hmm.
Or it would have been cool to see just an all-out battle across the realms instead of 3v1. But that would be a whole different story. Nothing like what we got here. Yeah, and this is certainly a movie I won't watch again. Even if a family member's like, hey, you want to watch this with me? I'll say, nope, I'm going to go somewhere else and enjoy my 2 hours doing nothing, probably. So,
putting more time into Overwatch.
Yeah, I would definitely do Overwatch over watching this again. So I'll give it a 4. Subjectively. Objectively, I mean, we covered a lot. I've been really hammering this whole hollow bit, so I won't cover it further here. It doesn't work. The bad guy reveal was pretty predictable. I don't think all 4 of us predicted it, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, we all saw it coming.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah. So it was pretty predictable. Even if I was a kid, I still feel like it would have been figured out before the reveal. Especially when Ginger and Clara met up, and when Clara brought up the mom was dead, just Ginger's face like, oh, I'm a compassionate character. Maybe I'm not so bad to the audience POV. So it was not a good twist. I did like the inventor stuff. I wish they leaned more into it,
Mm-hmm.
and the physics stuff, and more of the family, because they just existed. I think, actually, I'll pose you guys a question, even though this should have been before ratings. Do you think this should have been more? So obviously, there's Narnia inspirations. Do you think they should have leaned more and actually had all the kids here instead of just her?
I mean,
No.
There's an avenue where I can see them doing that, but they're gonna have to because if they do that, they then have to explain away that their mom loved them all equally.
Yeah.
Which means we're gonna get another hour of this. And
I think
honestly, I think this is too long.
movie.
So it would be a completely different movie. And there is more potential in that. I will agree with that. But I don't think with what we have, we can't work them in easily.
All right. Yeah, because I just feel like what we got with them is nothing. If they got removed from the movie, nothing would change. We could still just have a daughter and a sad dad who just gets beat up by his daughter.
Sad dad.
I don't know. I feel bad for him. the dad is my favorite character, I think, out of this, because I don't care about any character in here other than him.
I unfortunately I
Because he
agree.
gets shit, because he gets shit on immediately. Like, I mean,
Like,
just
dude,
like,
shit.
yeah.
Man was almost crying when he
Yeah,
got
he's like, oh, I did my
Even
best.
Morgan Freeman's character, even with his charisma, I don't care about him. He's not. He's very flat as a character.
Yeah.
It is disappointing. It could have been cool that he popped up in the world at the end as like this secret king or something. I don't know. It would have been cool that he actually had impact on the realm, but he didn't have anything. That could have easily been worked in somewhere.
I'm in agreement.
The visuals are not good when it comes to character movements. I think they did pretty well with environments, and like the flyby in London in the beginning, I think looked good outside of all the very fake looking people.
Yeah.
And the not so good looking owl either. Covering all that, I give it a solid 3.5.
Ooh.
Slightly better than actually I gave Jurassic World a 2, didn't I?
You did, yes.
You did.
Alright, a little bit better than Jurassic World Dominion. Sprinks, you're up.
Alright, that leaves me. Let's start with objective. Oh boy. So what this movie did good. It looks very cool. I think the world look of both London and the realms looked very magical and festive.
Yeah, aesthetic was nice.
Yes, I think the costume design was on point. The flower costumes, the soldiers were just they were fine. The soldier look, the ice people of the snowflake realm, they looked real cool. The dresses I think all looked fine. The different outfits Clara went through and everyone at the party in the beginning. I just think the costumes design was very, very cool. I like the music from both the original pieces of music of the ballet, or the original tale of it. I like the slight iteration changes that James Newton Howard did to them to still use the music but slightly change and tweak, and the original scores that he made for the film. I think they all blended and worked fine with the movie. Let's go on to the other stuff. I did like that they actually had ballet pieces in the movie. I think that was a nice touch. Even though it was very kind of minor, they still had ballet in the movie.
Yeah.
So I did like that.
What about the execution of said ballet?
Well, as we said with the scene, I like if the ballet was itself just explaining from a show, and then afterwards, like if Claire had questions, it could be explained in conversation. I think that would have been fine. I think if the ballet was just going on and Sugar Plum was like kind of narrating over it without cutting back and forth, I think that would have been fine. But the whole just back and forth swap, and then the visiting the other realms while the ballet is also going on, kind of making it a montage of like introducing Claire to the world. I think that was it was too much. But yeah, so some of the cuts I thought were odd, not necessarily jarring. The one that was jarring was the mirror shot, but the transitions cuts were very plain. The acting I think was fine for some people, not fine for the others. I think one of my biggest gripes is the name of the movie. I think the name of the movie should be something completely different, because the Nutcracker, even though he was present a lot, was not the main character.
He was there
and didn't really have a character. And then the Four Realms, two of them were barely, I guess 3 of them were barely touched on if the castle was a hub. So I think the name of the movie should be something different. Because with that name makes me think of a completely different movie. Anyhow, I think the acting was decent. I feel bad for Helen Mirren and Morgan Freeman, phenomenal actors and actresses, who did not get a lot of time in the movie. Keira Knightley definitely had a good amount of screen time as like the villain and everything, so that was fine. I did like her take on this role. It's very different from other things, with the whole voice being thrown in there that she did. None of the really cinematography really stood out to me. It was all pretty normal. The writing, oh boy. I'll say the writing for dialogue. Some of the dialogue was very corny. So overall, objectively, I'm going to give it a 6.5. It was originally a 7, I will say, but I marked it down half a point because we went into conversation with the whole time dilation, and more problems came out of that to me, so I dropped that down. So 6.5. Subjectively, boy, is this a festive time seasonal Christmas movie that really feels like a tin soldier of how hollow it is, because it has no charm or magic to me. Even just the film itself explaining like, oh, new world and things can do this and that. There's no explanation of actual magic. There's no magic, really. One could say there's no magic in the movie. And to me, that really just kind of breaks away this Christmas feel about it. It starts off with like a family movie, and then she abandoned her family the whole time, and it's not a family movie anymore. It just feels very hollow, I will say. I've only seen it twice. It's been out for 4 years now. It's a movie I don't necessarily need to ever see again. It's upsetting to me in ways of being classified as a Christmas movie. So I give it a 3.5 subjectively.
So no one enjoyed it. Darn. I really thought after these
it was
few
just
hours.
I enjoyed parts of it.
It wasn't.
You summed it up best, I think, Crimson, because I it was something where I kind of missed it, or missed putting it in, but it was like, yeah, I just kind of watched it. I didn't enjoy it. I didn't really not enjoy it either. It just kind of like was something.
It just felt like you. It just felt like you had to do it.
Yeah, I think that feel made it feel rushed.
Yeah.
Yeah, 'cause it was just like,
as soon as you got a little bit of consciousness, you're like, oh, we're in a completely different part.
Yeah. I mean,
well, yeah, because like, and I wasn't like questioning really anything while I was watching, and then after I finished and I was about to go to bed and everything, I was like, oh wait, that happened. That didn't make any sense at all, or like, it was like it had hypnotized me where I didn't think about it.
It took effort to keep my brain from turning off in this movie.
Yeah, it's hard.
I guess because it is the holidays, I think we want to end on a good note. So, what's some Christmas movies you would recommend to the audience? Let's start with
Muppets Christmas Carol.
Muppets Christmas
Please.
Carol was a classic. National Lampoon's Christmas Vacation.
Yeah, Christmas Vacation.
All right, nice.
Can't go wrong with Charlie Brown.
No, you can't. Don't forget Jim Carrey's Grinch.
That's
yeah.
Yo, oh, okay, yeah, the Grinch. Yes, I thought you were going to say Christmas Carol for a second. Yes,
no, the Grinch.
Die Hard.
The original Scrooge.
Oh yeah, can't forget. I mean, if we're going to include Die Hard, we have to include Narnia.
No,
is Narnia?
Yeah,
Santa's in it.
Santa's in it. He literally delivers presents.
That's true. That's true. This is as much of a Christmas movie as the first Harry Potter is.
The stop motion Christmas ones: Rudolph the Red-Nosed Reindeer, Year Without a Santa Claus.
Oh yeah.
Oh yeah.
Good ones.
All those old TV specials.
Yeah, the old TV specials are a bunch of fun.
Yeah, the TV specials, shockingly, always good.
Still
I don't
hold
know. Christmas movies, it's weird. It's a bit more, I think, like 50-50, but like TV specials, those are always good.
That's fair.
Yeah.
Anyway, thank you for listening to our first Christmas special. We got another one coming out next week.
Yeah.
We're not going to tell you what it is, but it's different.
No, it's a gift. We'll say that.
It's a gift.
Certainly a gift.
Hopefully we'll have a better
gift or curse, depending.
Yeah, it could be a gift of cold to some of you. Who knows?
Yeah.
But thank you for listening to our first Christmas special, and we hope you have a very merry holiday season.
Yeah, happy holidays.
Yeah, any holiday. If you're watching this and you don't celebrate Christmas, you know what? Good on you. But whatever you celebrate, it's fine by us.
And signing off here, we have.
As always, well, hold on. As always, you can find us on Anchor, Spotify, Google Podcasts, Overcast, Castbox, Podcasts, and Samsung. And
Better check the list twice.
Yeah, better check the list twice. Grab your eggnog, grab some blanket, curl up on the couch, enjoy your holiday. And as always,
Don't watch this movie.
and don't watch this movie.
Please, yeah,
As always, I've been a geeky writer.
I'm Crescent Marin.
I'm a character called Sinister Boy.
And I'm Sprinks.
Later, everybody. Happy holidays.
Happy
Happy
holidays.
holidays. Toodaloo.